please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, only because I am doing this off of the YouTube, not StreamYard, where I normally am doing my lives at. So if you guys can put a 1 in the chat, sorry. That's why I got on here a little bit late, simply because I was trying to figure out, like setting it up with my camera and everything like that. So sorry about that. Very, very sorry about that. I just want to make sure everyone can hear me and see me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, per usual, I love this because then I can actually see like the likes, like I can actually see the thumbs up. So, please do not forget to like the live. Please just press the thumbs up for me. I appreciate it. Per usual, do not forget to subscribe. Oh my God. Now it did it. I have to pop. Well, I'll just have to do it this way. Is it even? It's probably not connected to my actual. It's doing it from my MacBook. So hold on. I got to pop out and pop back in again. Unless you guys are okay with it. Oh my God. Unless you guys are okay with it like this. But it's doing it off my MacBook now instead of my typical camera. So whatever, we'll just have to do it this way. We'll just have to do it for this way. That's fine. Okay. So back to our regular scheduled program. So sorry about that. I don't ever really use the main I don't ever use the main platform for YouTube whenever I'm on here. I always like to use StreamYard. So that's the reason why I was having technical difficulties. So sorry. Thank you guys for being patient. But okay. No more issues with that. Okay, good. It's not doing anything crazy. Thanks for all the compliments. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Okay. I had several women ask me what I thought about certain professions. And if anyone follows me on TikTok or they've been like a long time follower of me on TikTok, you guys probably had followed my roster dating series where I took certain professions and I kind of like psychoanalyzed the profession, or maybe just gave like my own experience with certain professions and how they reflect as partners or potential partners. So from that, I wanted to do it where I took pretty much 10. Can you guys still hear me? You guys should still be able to hear me, right? It's because I have phone mirroring and my phone is connected. So I just want to make sure people can still hear me because I'm afraid that it's gonna like go out. Okay, good. Someone said yes. So yeah, I'll probably be checking in occasionally to make sure that you guys can hear, because yeah, it automatically did the phone mirroring for my MacBook and my iPhone. So there, I'm not gonna give these in any type of like order. Hold on. Okay. I'm not going to give these in any type of order. Okay. So I'm just going to list 10. There will probably be a part two to this. So before I get into the list, I just want to say this. Okay. There is no foolproof. There is no foolproof profession that a man is supposed to have or not supposed to have in order for you to deem him as being worthy of dating or not, or it reflecting that he is going to be a good partner, a good husband, a good father, or anything like that. Okay. This is more of just like a psychoanalysis of the professions, and I'm going to give you guys statistics. I'm going to give you guys pros and cons. I'm going to give you guys everything that I personally believe for all of these professions, and they are not in any type of order. They're not in any type of order. So, we're going to get started. Um Okay, so I put so the first one is construction workers, okay? So men in construction they're very very hardworking, like super super hardworking, hands-on, and they are very physically tough because obviously you have to be in order to do a job like that. When you are working outside, you're working in the heat, you're working in the cold, you're having to like lay down cement and build houses and all of that type of things like that. But those jobs, construction is like a very like high level exhaustion job. And so a lot of these men that do these jobs where it's like they're a laborer, they're a construction worker, a blue collar type of thing. Emotionally, I feel like those men really struggle in relationships. They have a very hard time with emotional investment in a relationship, and it can make it like very difficult. And also not only that, but many construction sites have like very hyper masculine culture. That's kind of what the profession is built off of. That's the reason, like, you guys ever watch like TV shows or movies, and it'll be like a woman walking on the street, and it'll be the construction workers working, and they'll all get together, the construction workers, and they'll hit on anything that they see walking past them. Yeah, because that's the construction culture. It's a very like hyper masculinity type of culture, and this can do things like breed aggression. It can also breed infidelity. I remember when I was a stripper, um we got a lot of construction workers that came into the strip club, and a lot of them were married, a lot of them were with someone, a lot of them had children and things like that. And yeah, they really are like that. Like the way that they portray them in media, when they're all like catcalling women and, hey, can I get your number, and da da da, while they're working, being completely unprofessional while they're working. That's really how they are in real life. So I already told you like the pros, that like they're physically strong, they're hardworking, good with their hands, literally and figuratively, if you know what I'm saying. Okay. And then if they're a part of a union, like they actually do make really good money. They have like a very well like reliable income. That actually was one reason why I liked them coming into the strip club, because I knew that they actually had money to spend. Also for that's those are the pros of them. The cons of them are high injury and addiction rates. So I'm also going to I told you guys I would give you all statistics as well. So 28% of construction workers deal with alcohol or drug abuse. Okay. So keep that in mind. This is why in the club culture, in the bar culture of any strippers or bartenders, anyone that works in that type of industry, if you actually talk to these men and you get to know these men, you will notice that a lot of them are construction workers. They get off of their hardworking job, and the first thing that they want to do is face a drink and down a drink. Um, and then, like I said before, the hyper masculinity. So, real men don't talk about their feelings. They want to be tough. They want to be machismo. They want to have like all of this bravado and toughness about them. So, I'm also going to give you warning signs for each profession as well. So, the warning signs for a man that is in construction. He drinks excessively after work. Okay. If he constantly is having to go to the bar multiple times a week, after he gets off of work, that is an issue. Okay, that is an issue. You should be very observant of that because in most cases, he probably has an alcohol addiction. Okay, that was one thing that I did find when I was working in the strip club. A lot of those blue collar construction workers, union workers, a lot of them are addicted to alcohol. Also, a lot of those men that do that type of job, a lot of them are big into gender roles. I do feel like blue collar, I do feel like there is a blue collar stay at home wife um I don't know, not pipeline, but kind of like typically if it's a blue collar worker, they tend to idolize gender roles. So in most cases, I feel like a lot of those blue collar workers, all of their wives are usually stay at home moms. That's just my observation. And then also when I feel like they only talk about work. They don't talk about anything that comes along with the work that would be bothering them. So, like any physical issues, any stress issues, any demanding issues, they tend to like shy away from that type of talk, which is what I said can also be an issue when it comes to their level of emotional investment in the relationship. My SD was an electrician in the beer and he drinks beers excessively. See, I'm telling you, a lot of them have a drinking problem. I worked on the shipyard and they have a lot of addictions and misogyny. Yes, spot on. Thank you. Yep, truckers, movers. Yep. Yep, the construction worker I knew would drink until he passed out every time. Very true. I heard a lot of them do snow too. Yes, they have no choice but to do snow because it's like they're working long ass shifts. They're working very, very long ass shifts. Their backs are hurting, their hands are hurting. Like they're dealing with a lot of like physical issues, and so they want to blow their steam off, or they're going to need energy to like keep on doing the job. Okay, so that was number one. So that was construction worker. Number two, I have police officers. We already knew that police officers was going to be on the. We already knew police officers was going to be on the list. And I just know this from personal experiences because one of my exes is a police officer. This is when I was young and my brain wasn't fully developed, so I didn't really understand the psychoanalysis of how a police officer thinks and the masculinity, the toxic masculinity, the things like that. I wasn't aware of that at the time. But so based off of the psychoanalysis, cops do that job for a reason. Okay. They are in that job for a reason because in order for you to be a police officer, you want to be in control, you want to take charge, and in order to do that type of job, you have to suppress your emotions. Like there really is no room for vulnerability, for emotional openness or things like that. And this will typically spill over into relationships because a lot of men men don't have boundaries. They don't. Men don't have boundaries. So I find that I do believe that when it comes to men, what profession they choose to work in, it is a reflection of who they are as a person because men don't have boundaries. So I don't believe that men are able to set a boundary between them working and then them coming home. I just feel as though what's going to happen is whatever they do for work, it's going to translate and spill over into their relationship dynamic. So I feel as though when they're in a job, they're controlling, so they're going to be controlling partners. Like a lot of police officers, They're controlling. They're emotionally detached, and they are very rigid in their thinking. They tend to have very black and white thinking. They tend to have no nuance. They tend to have no openness to any outside ideas or foreign ideas. Just very, very rigid in their thinking. And then also, I know we mentioned this, I think, last night on last night's live, which obviously, yeah, it's not up anymore. I already talked about that on the community tab. But the blue brotherhood culture, which protects police officers from accountability, I believe that that's the number one thing that if you're a woman and you're dealing with a police officer, you should be aware of that. I also find that when it comes to police officers, the most common dynamic that I see with police officers is always police officers and nurses. Has anyone else noticed that combination? I feel like I notice that combination often with police officers and nurses. I don't know what it is about that combination, but I feel like it's always a police officer and a worker in healthcare. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Um, and so the thing about it is that because they have that blue brotherhood and because they are protected in a manner when it comes to their level of accountability, because pretty much like they're being covered by their coworkers, their male coworkers, they are going to have more tendency to get into things such as domestic violence because they understand that their police officers, their fellow coworkers, they're not going to do anything to them. You know what I mean? They're not going to turn their one of their own in. Like they're not going to do that. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the point where he may be violent, and it may be nothing that you can do about it because he has protection from his coworkers. And also a very interesting statistic that I found is that 40% of police households experience domestic violence, which is 4 times higher than the general population. I'm going to repeat that one more time. 40% of police households experience domestic violence, 4 times higher than the general population. So if you choose to be with a police officer, your chance of being in a domestic violent relationship increases by 4 times. Okay. So you're playing with fire if you deal with a police officer. The statistics clearly show that. Um, as if it really is a whole lot of pros. It's really not with dating a police officer. But y'all already know I'm a Gemini moon, so I try to give both sides of everything. That way I'm not too biased. So it'll be pros and cons for every single one. So for pros, I said that they have the protective ability, heavy on ability. Okay. I'm not just gonna say that police officers are protectors. They have the protective ability. But I feel like when it comes to women, they will abuse it and neglect it. And a potential strong provider. They do tend to be disciplined and goal oriented. And obviously, with them being a police officer, they do have a decent amount of job stability and they also have benefits. Okay. So, on a financial standpoint, I kind of feel like that's really the only reason that you would deal with the police officer, but I wouldn't even chance it with that. Okay, so the cons. Okay, the cons. And thank you for the compliments, guys. I got me a new wig finally. I have another wig, but I don't like it. I don't like it. The hair is like way too big. Okay, so for cons, they have an authoritative mindset. An authoritative mindset. I already told you guys that police officers, they're in that position for a reason. They want to control somebody. Usually their archetype, they were bullied in school. Okay, they were lame in school, they got rejected, they were picked on, and so now pretty much they want to put themselves in a predicament where they can have control over people and over civilians because they have been picked on their whole life and they were unpopular, uncool in high school. Okay, emotional suppression, so they can't communicate well at all. And then there's going to be a high rate of infidelity and domestic violence when it comes to police officers. And then just warning signs is that he has anger issues. He is going to get aggressive easily. So if you tell him no, if you disagree with him and he gets irate, he raises his voice, he calls you out of your name, you need to yeah, just stop. Don't talk. Don't deal with them anymore. If he dismisses your concerns as you overreacting, you being emotional, you doing too much, once again, red flag. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. And he expects obedience, not partnership. There is a reason why police officers use dogs. Okay. There is a reason why police officers use dogs. I am sorry, but I don't commend men for owning dogs. I don't. I don't commend them for owning dogs. I know that a lot of women believe like, "Oh, that's cute and that's he's taking care of something, he's nurturing something." Men don't like cats. So it has nothing to do with them liking animals. Men like dogs. And although yes, dogs can pick up scents and things like that, you also have to remember that in order for the dog to be a part of the force, what do they have to do to the dog? They have to train the dog into obedience. And this is the reason why I question men that have dogs as pets because dogs are obedient. You can groom dogs and you can get dogs to do whatever it is that you want them to do. Dogs don't really have any boundaries. And so although that's like aside from it's somewhat tied to the police officers too. Yes, they use the dogs to sniff out things and things like that, but also they can get the dogs to do whatever it is that they want them to do. Give me 1 second. Let me read the chat really quick. Nurses are more patient and understanding. Exactly. A super macho type with the most nurturing feminine type cops and nurses. Yeah, exactly. I heard a lot of cops stalk their partners. I've heard some scary ex-boyfriend cop stories. Yeah, because they're protected. They're going to be allowed to do all this stuff, and the reason being is because they're protected by the force. So they're going to stalk you, and you can go to the police all you want to go file a restraining order or go file a police report. They're not going to do anything about it. They're not going to do anything about it. Police officers and teachers, nurse tend to interact with officers at hospitals. Yes. Damn, the makeup is on point. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, highly feminine job and a highly masculine job. Exactly. You look good today, like more radiant. You're always gorgeous. Oh, thank you. I love your lives, Queen. They are so informative and entertaining. Thank you. Okay, the wig. Hold on, y'all, because I made sure because y'all were gonna ask me. I honestly need to reach out to them and reach out to them for a promo. But but it's only on TikTok that they do it on. So I guess I could promote it on here. I just wouldn't get commission this way. It would have to be from TikTok. So the brand is OQ Hair. Y'all, this wig is everything. Like, y'all, look at the parting. Like, look at the parting. Like, look at the parting space. Like, it's good. Like, this wig is everything. Like, this wig is fucking everything. Okay. Like, it's glueless. It's glueless. So the last wig that I had was also by the same brand, but obviously I wore that wig to shit. Like I wore it like down to the fucking I wore it down to the fucking ground. But yeah, like their wigs are everything. Like everything. Hold on, because I don't have it in mirror form. So it's the opposite. So I'm trying to like make sure that but yeah, OQ Hair. They're on TikTok. They're on TikTok, but they got a website too. But I'm definitely gonna hit them up and ask them if your girl can get sponsored by them because their wigs are everything. This is the second wig that I got from them. And I love their wigs. They're so pretty. Okay. Okay, they don't make a lot of money unless you are in poverty. What financial stability? Most women work anyways. Okay, so the thing about it, what I find funny is that they no, the men don't want to be the police. Men don't want to be police officers because of how dangerous the job is. And so because of that, they are actually offering these police officers a lot of fucking money. They are for them to be entry level. Even outside, like in the like I come from a small town in Indiana Even in the small towns in Indiana, they're offering these entry level police officers like $75,000, $80,000 a year. And then they also can like pick up like patrol work. So whenever there's like concerts, whenever there's construction work, all they have to do is just patrol on like the side of the road or in the parking lot, and they'll get paid like 50 to 75 bucks a fucking hour, even more than that, some of them. So the police force is so like scarce, so sparse now. They're actually offering these guys a lot of money to become a police officer. So you also have to be careful for that too, because a lot of them people are gonna get into it just for the money alone. My cousin married a police officer. Drama at a couple family functions. They divorced. My cousin has a lot of trauma, but she's getting it together. Praying for her, because you know what? I could only imagine how much police officers abuse their power in order to control women. I can only imagine, because they essentially get the freedom to do it. Yes, because dog serves. Exactly. We need to pray for my cousin Charlene. I'm telling you, the prayers are out there, girl. I'm telling you, but she'll recover. She will. There was a really cool, personality wise, police officer who was interested in me, but I'm not stupid. This is a thing. All of these professions, these men are cool. Like, these men are cool to begin with. It's not until you live with them, you get serious with them, that you really get to see who they are. Because always remember when you were a kid and they taught you stranger danger? Why do you think they taught you stranger danger? They taught you stranger danger because a stranger is not going to come up to you and say, I'm going to kidnap you. I'm going to abduct you. I'm going to R word you. No, they're going to be nice to you. They're going to lure you with candy. They're going to lure you with a video game. They're going to lure you with things that you like. They're going to be nice. They're going to be cunning. They're going to be charming. And so to get your defenses down. So it's not until that your defenses are down that then that's when they flip that switch on and show you who they really are. Cats make you learn boundaries and earn their trust, and dogs are submissive. Exactly. This is why women are like, oh, he has a dog, he owns a dog. And I'd be disgusted when they own a dog. There's never been a man. I tell you one thing, you want to see a man really how he really is? I promise you. See how he is around that goddamn dog. There was one guy I knew who had a dog. I came over his house and the dog wasn't even acting rowdy. Like, the dog wasn't doing anything crazy. He had a short fuse. He took the dog and he grabbed the dog from underneath his two front arms and he shoved the dog away from him. He shoved the fucking dog away from him. And then one of my exes, who became a police officer, who I told you guys yesterday, I broke up with him because of that, because I knew that if I were to stay with him, he would become abusive. His dog, I'm not going to get too deep into this story. His dog was sick and he brought his dog to work with him because he was a business owner. His dog was sick and he brought his dog to work with him. He was like codependent with his dog, and his dog smelled like shit. His dog smelled like yeast. It was so disgusting. He had like one of those XL large bullies or whatever. The dog smelled like shit. It was so disgusting. Then I went over his house. The dog's cage was in his room. So then his room smelled like shit. I was like, oh, I got to break up with you now. Because I had never been over to his place before. We had only been together for a couple months. I was like, oh, hell no. You brought your sick dog to you with you to work instead of taking your dog to the vet. Your dog smells like shit. Like, you're not even caring for the dog properly. So yeah. And then he told me that he was becoming a police officer. I said, oh, hell no. I'm done. It only gets worse from here. Okay. Yes, and nurses serve. Exactly. Dogs serve just like they want their women to. Exactly. Most guys who went to prison or DV get a dog and train them to attack because they can't carry a pew pew. Exactly. Men do target nurses for money and teachers for nurturing as wives. Exactly. Welcome to all the people that are finally catching me on a live. I'm done working a 9 to 5. So moving forward, I'm gonna go pretty much live every day, and it'll be at 7:30. Okay, because I'm not working a 9 to 5 anymore. Fuck that. I'm tired of these goddamn companies. Yeah, it's human hair. It is. It's human hair, and the wigs are really affordable too. I think this wig was under. I think this wig was under $200. I think it was about. I want to say it was like 134, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and human hair. Human hair girl, only the finest. Only the finest over here, boo. None of that. Well, I do have one synthetic wig for just fun. But yeah, I make sure it's human hair. And it's glueless. It is. It's glueless. I don't because I have edges. I want to keep my edges. I don't want to and then I work out too. I don't have time to go to the gym and put the glue on and take the glue off and use the alcohol. I don't have time for that. I like them glueless. Save your edges. It's nice. I need a new glueless wig. I'm telling you, OQ hair. O as in oval, Q as in Quincy Jones. Okay. I've been eyeing that brand and you confirmed it for me buying. Good. Also, officers get free apartments at Complex. Yeah, they get the car, they get housing, they get everything. Oh, nice. I was raised in Fort Wayne. My uncle lived in Fort Wayne for quite some time. He did. He lived in Fort Wayne. Dated a correction officer, and that was a mistake. Ooh, ciao. I'm sorry, I missed it. What was the wig brand? Okay, I already answered that. I was listening and still missed the entire wig info, Chrissy. Okay, well, I just told y'all, so now I got the info for the wig. That's why I always find it suspicious when men are nice to me. Like, what do you want now? Exactly. They say we should choose, they say we should vet and choose better, but some hide their true selves until after marriage. Yeah, once a man feels like he got you, once a man feel like he trapped you, that is when he is going to expose who he really is. I'm telling you. I went out with an officer. He basically told me I needed to listen to him and allow him to lead because I kept questioning him and giving him my opinion. And this is in the Caribbean. Same thing. Anytime a man has to like beg you, you need to listen to me, you need to let me lead, you need to trust me. No, no, just do it. Your actions will reflect your leadership. Your actions and your aura and your energy will reflect that you are a person who is worth being trusted. If someone is begging you to listen, begging you to follow them, they don't have good intentions for you. They don't. They don't have good intentions for you. Women are like, just trust me, just trust me. Nope. Mm-mm. Do something worthy of making me trust you. Do something worthy of making me trust you. Girl, no way. Something is going on there. He sounds disturbed. They don't know how to take care of dogs or anything, even babies. I met too many that have dogs and mistreat them. I want to start YouTube. I want to start YouTube. Are you already making money off of it? Yeah, I encourage you all to get a YouTube. I'm telling you, quit your 9 to 5 and start a YouTube channel. You get monetized once you get 1,000 subscribers and then you have 3,000 hours of watch time. Like please start a YouTube channel. The wig is OQ hair. You need OQ to give you a check for the shout out. I'm gonna send them an email right after I get off of this live stream. Okay, I'm gonna go on ahead and do it right after this fucking live stream because I'm selling this hair, y'all. I'm selling this hair, y'all. Okay. I should have said Q as in OQ hair. That's what I should have said. But yeah, Q as in Quincy. You I already explained why they were bad today. They're controlling, narcissistic, emotionally suppressive, and they will abuse their power. So just think, if you're with a police officer, he puts his hands on you, he stalks you, he harasses you, he has the force protecting him. You are stuck. It's not going to be much that you can do. I thought police officers made the same amount as teachers, 40 to 60K. They're making six figures in high cost of living cities. It depends on what city it is. It depends on what city it is. What about bros in the travel industry? Okay, so you mean like travel agents? I'm assuming that's what you mean, like travel agents. Um it depends because the thing about it is this: if they're in the travel industry, they've probably traveled a lot. But here's the thing: men that are in the travel industry, I don't take them as men that would want to like settle down. Okay, I don't. I don't really take them as men that would want to settle down. When men do things like anything in the travel industry, so like even if they're like a pilot and things like that, typically men that go into jobs like that, they have an avoidant attachment style. So they really probably don't want anything serious unless you're avoidant. Then at that point, it would probably work. But for men that are in the travel industry, I think it would mostly depend on if you're okay with someone that would have more of an avoidant attachment style. That's just what I think. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh, I don't know how to put it up. I'm almost done, guys, to through the chat before I start the next one. Make sure you guys make sure you guys like so while I'm like going through the comments, please like that way I can go on to the next thing, to the next, profession. Finance bros should definitely be on this list too. It's going to be a part 2 because I'm only doing 10 professions today, okay? Because I told you it'll be detailed, okay? If it was just something quick I was giving you, then I would do all the professions, but it'll be a second part to this. So we're not going to, finance bros won't be on the list today, but they'll be on the part 2, okay? Because there'll be 2 parts of this. Yep, after 18 years marriage, then he showed his true colors. They switch up after marriage, buying a house and having a child. It's not worth it. So happy, so single now. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Well, thank you for the super chat, Maria. And also thank you for the super chat, Preppy Princess. Thank you. Did anyone mention male nurses? I've run into quite a bit who are 304s. I'll have them on the list. I will have the medical professionals on the list. It was disgusting. Had to let that go. Couldn't see myself being his girl and being around that funky dog all the time. Girl, that dog was stanking. I was like, oh hell. Oh, and then another thing too. Listen to this. Listen to this. I came over his house. He had one of those cheap ass leather couches with the fake leather, the peel off leather. He let the dog peel off all the fucking leather off of the couch. He let the dog peel off all the leather off the fucking couch. So it was just like remnants of like a little bit of like that fake leather left, and it was all peeled off. I was like, oh hell nah. Oh hell nah. I knew it was a reason I wasn't stunting on coming over to your place. I knew it was a fucking reason why. Because when I would get in his car, the car smelled like the fucking dog. And I'm like, I damn for sure don't want to come over to your place. And he quickly proved to me why I didn't want to come over there. I dated a military pilot who did law enforcement work, and let's just say he's on trial for 3 different cases right now. Whoo, chow. Whoo, chow. You put the military pilot and he did law enforcement. Oh, chow. Oh, chow. That's a recipe for disaster. Recipe for disaster. The male masseuses. Men are unbelievable. What the fuck is wrong with them? It's up to us women to start humbling them. We let too much slide for too long. Girl, why you think I broke up with that man? Why you think I broke up with that man? See, there would be some women that would be like, you broke up with him over his couch. You broke up with him over his dog. You broke up with him over his profession, but that's his passion. And he did tell me that it was his passion and he's always wanted to be a police officer. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. I don't think pilots are on the list for today. Let me see. No, they're not on the list. They're not on the list for today. And like I said before, it's going to depend on your personality. Pilots are away all the time. If you're a woman with an avoidant attachment style, you being with a pilot won't bother you. Only thing is that you're going to have to care about not getting cheated on because in most cases, you're going to get cheated on when you're with a pilot because he's away. He's going to be screwing the flight attendants. He's going to be screwing people in other places. Like, come on, like let's just be real. Like most men are obsessed with SCX. They're not going to be away that long and not be tempted by anyone. Like I'm just keeping it real. So if you have an avoidant personality, you're not clingy, you don't care about getting cheated on, a pilot will work for you. Okay, the next one. Firefighters are great in bed, okay? At least with my experience, that is one thing they're very good for. Firefighters are very, very good in bed. I think firefighters are DL though. I do. Um, I think firefighters are DL. Just saying. Um, they are heroes in the streets. Okay, but once again, pretty much all these professions, because it's men, they're all going to be emotionally unavailable. Okay, like let me just tell you that front off rip. Okay, they're all going to be emotionally unavailable. The only professions where you may luck out with when it comes to a man having emotional availability, a therapist and a teacher. That's it. Those are the only two professions that I could think of where you might strike some luck on a man having some emotional availability. If he is a teacher and if he is a therapist. Obviously, if he's a therapist, because he has to understand psychoanalysis, he has to understand emotions, he has to understand attachment styles, trauma, all of those things, empathy. He has to understand that for his job. And then also for teachers, not college teachers though. That's the thing. It also will depend on, if they're a teacher, what level of teaching are they doing. If he is a middle school, if he is a middle school teacher, yeah, if he's a middle school teacher, he's most likely going to have a level of emotional availability, because if you're a man and you teach middle school, yeah, only if he is a teacher but not a coach. Yep. When it's a man and he's a teacher and he's a coach, I'm just like, okay. So, men that are firefighters, firefighter, EMT, a lot of those men have an adrenaline addiction, okay? Because you have to think, these are first responders, okay? So they are seeing people in the worst possible way, okay? They are seeing people in the worst possible freaking way. So for a man to get in the line of firefighting, he is an adrenaline junkie. He is a dopamine junkie. And this is also the reason why I feel like firefighters are DL. I would just keep it real with you. And you have to remember, they're in the firehouse with a ton of men. Okay, they're in the firehouse with a ton of men for 48 hours. Like, no. You mean to tell me that you're a thrill seeker, you're adrenaline junkie, you are addicted to dopamine, you're addicted to dopamine, okay, when they're a firefighter. Like, they're addicted to dopamine in the other firefighters that they're with for 48 hours. Just my opinion. So obviously cheating, reckless behavior, alcohol abuse. And and like I said before, I feel as though they're going to bond deeper with their colleagues than they will with their actual partners. Okay. Um, that's just my, yeah, that's just what I believe. But physically they are fit. They body be whoo, they bodies be good. They have enough stamina to last in bed. They gonna pick you up, flip you around, put it down, flip it and reverse it. They gonna do all of that in the bedroom. Okay. They are gonna usually know how to handle situations. So if their ego isn't involved, if y'all was in a hurricane or a fire or something like that, he would be able to know how to evacuate y'all. And typically they're going to be well respected in the community because they're serving the community, they're rescuing people and they're helping people. But you also have to remember that, like I told you before, because I feel as though firefighters are mostly DL, a lot of men that become firefighters get into this job because they're DL, because they get supply to men secretly. They get a often supply of men secretly, and they get respect from the community as well. So no one is looking at a firefighter thinking, oh, he's in the firehouse like getting bent over or bending other men over. No one is thinking that. They're like, oh, he got the cat out of the tree, he blew the fire out from my house, you know what I'm saying? No one is suspecting that he's DL. Firefighters, they're DL. I'm sorry. um so I told you guys already, the emotional, they're not emotionally vulnerable, they're not emotionally open. Their shifts are long, so typically the firefighters are going to do the 48 on, 24 off. So you have to be okay with that, because that's not a whole lot of time to recover, especially when especially if when you're on for 48 and like you actually are having a lot of calls. Recovering for 24 hours, it ain't going to be enough. Okay. They're going to be all over the place, especially when they're seeing a lot of traumatic events, a lot of traumatic things, you know what I'm saying? And then also, this is another big one where the drinking culture is really, really strong. 46% of firefighters report binge drinking. Okay. One more time for you. 46% of firefighters report binge drinking, because you have to think these men, everything they're seeing is traumatic. Okay. These firefighters are seeing traumatic ass things. And because men don't go to therapy, they are trying to find a way to self medicate. And a lot of them are going to self medicate through alcohol to get over what it is that they have seen and that they've been exposed to. So, some warning signs for you. Just like for construction workers, if he's drinking heavily after a stressful shift, he's emotionally distant, he doesn't want to open up, and then if he gets bored easily and needs constant stimulation, it goes back to the dopamine thing. These men will be corn addicted. They don't care who it is that they'll sleep with. They are willing to behave in high risk behaviors. Yeah, so let me go through the chat. Make sure you guys like the live, okay? Please please get the likes up. So I'm gonna go through these comments while y'all get the likes up for me. He dumped his ex when she turned 38. Oh, hell no. Also a stalker. Oh my gosh, that man sounds like a piece of work. Also, these guys are big on structure and control. They suck the life out of their family. Exactly. I wouldn't mind a workaholic. I like my own company anyway. That's the reason why, if I had to choose, I actually would prefer to be with a pilot, because I want my own company. I don't want someone around me all the time. I don't want to have someone around that I have to do something for, that I have to think of. You can go cheat in peace for all I care. Just don't bother my ass. So if I had to choose any profession that I would like to deal with, like long term, it would be a pilot. Go do your thing. Go do your thing. Just don't bring nothing back to me. Don't bring back no babies. Don't bring back no STDs. Whatever you do, whatever. I'm minding my own business. I'm minding my own business at the crib. I feel like with the way things are going, men in general are becoming dangerous. These men are not okay. No, they're not okay. Like, honestly, they are. They're becoming more and more dangerous. The DV rates are going through the roof. The femicide rate is increasing year by year. Yeah, these men are just becoming more and more sick, more and more mentally unstable, more and more dangerous. Every time I date a new guy, he ends up being military or vet. I hate it. I have the same experience, and I feel like that's all that's left out here, because don't nobody fucking want their asses. And women are out here making money. Like, you have to think, men that are in the military, the main reason why they were able, because you have to remember, back in the day, most military men were married. Most military men were married because when you think about it, military men were just paid passport bros. When you really think about it, they were paid passport bros. So they would typically marry women out of another country, and then he would be able to earn more money and then make enough money to support and to sustain both of them. Women out here making their own money, women out here getting degrees, women out here being self-sufficient, women out here being independent. So men that are in the military and the army, any of those type of professions, they can't do these contract marriages with women anymore. They can't do it no more. If you got to be a pick me, you got to really want the ring, you got to really want to be desperate in order to deal with a man in the military, because they money not long. And in this economy, they money not long enough for you to want to stick it out with them based off of their income, based off of their money. The cost of living is way too high for that to even be a thing. Men are doctors want you to beg and chase them. I blocked after a week. Exactly. How about those that are in real estate? That'll be in part 2. We won't talk about real estate people today. Wait, hold on. Doctors want you to beg and chase them. I blocked after a week. Yeah, it's because they have a ego complex. Men are unbelievable. What the fuck is wrong with them? It's up to, okay, I already read that. It's up to us to start humbling them. I agree. Doctors are typically broke, under 40, and they think they're the prize. Yes, because it's like they had fellowship, then they had residency. When doctors are in residency, they're making like $30,000 to $40,000. Then when they start working, they're usually going to start off at like 150K to 200K, but they also have to pay back loans. So it's not for quite some time that these doctors are even able to really, get their money back and then some. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why they get foreign women. Exactly. They can remember the first goldfish of their entire fantasy football team, but can't remember where the laundry basket is. Exactly. Men are selective in who they're listening to, they're selective in what rules they want to follow. They hear you loud and clear. They know exactly where the things are. They just don't give a fuck. They just don't give a fuck. Tiny PP plus enormous ego. You may be deleted or extremely traumatized. Exactly. ER doctor here, firefighters and EMTs have access to nurses and doctors across their city and can bond over handing off patients. Exactly. Exactly. That's awesome that you're a doctor. I love that. My mama has to be a workaholic. I'm too detached for my man has to be a workaholic. I'm too detached for a clingy man. Exactly. I need a workaholic. That's usually why I date men who are like entrepreneurs, but I actually think I put them on the list today too. I can't remember because I made two lists. All this time, I thought they were playing cards in the firehouse. Girl, nah. Girl, nah, they ain't playing cards. I mean, they are playing cards. They are playing cards, but they doing other things. They sword fighting with their peepees in there too. I would think pediatricians would be emotionally available. You have to remember men are not conditioned to emotionally process things. They're not emotionally conditioned to process things. So even though a man might be he could very well be a pediatrician, just because he can care for children at work doesn't mean that he knows how to emotionally regulate from what he has seen at work. There's two layers to this, and this is what a lot of women get wrong. A lot of women believe that because a man goes into a certain because they go into a certain profession, it is a reflection of their personality. You also have to think of what comes along with the profession and how they're handling it. That is usually what the issue is with men. They go into the profession, they don't know how to emotionally regulate with what comes with the profession. And then what this translates into, these men abusing you, these men disrespecting you, these men manipulating you. That's their form of emotional regulation, is just to take it, they will take it out on whoever it is that they're coming home to. And that is usually where the issue lies, in what type of profession these men are choosing, which is why I'm doing this video in the first place. People ask me why not marry another doctor. Many want nurses instead to care for and serve them. Exactly. At the end of the day, it's always going to be, it's male doctors, right? You see more male doctors than you see male nurses because it's a hierarchy. Doctors are on top and nurses are on bottom. If a doctor is usually with another doctor, for men think in hierarchies. Men want to be with someone that is beneath them. So they want to be with someone that will take care of them and things like that. They don't want to be with another person that is necessarily their equal. It's not fun for them. That's not fun for them. They want to be with a nurse because the nurse is beneath them. They want to have a superiority complex over another person. Because I hate doctors. I'm done with the healthcare system now. I actually worked in ultrasound for 6 years. I'm done with healthcare. I'm over it. I was really just on the phone with one of my really good friends, and she did x-ray, and like she's even done with x-ray. I'm the healthcare system, child. And my mom's like, how come you don't date a doctor? And my mom's a nurse. How come you don't date a doctor? How come you don't get with a doctor? Child, no. I'm like, Mama, you work with these doctors. You know how these doctors are. Hell no. I've had doctors ask me out, ask for my number, invite me over. I've turned every single doctor fucking down. No, it would never work. Oh my God, I sent the diamond bracelet. Let's see what happens. Yeah, let's see what happens. And if that doesn't work, send him a request for money. Send that Apple Pay request, that Cash App request, the Venmo, the PayPal. Send the request. You didn't give me the bracelet, just ask her how much the bracelet costs in cash. I've dated a military guy who had a lot of issues in Vogue. Anything walking around with a peen between its legs is a red flag. Pretty much. Pretty much. All right. Next profession that we are going to do, truck drivers. Truck drivers. Okay, so back when I was a stripper, I don't know if this is I don't know if this is in other states, okay, because I'm in the United States, but I do know that in Illinois and in Indiana, usually they have truck stops near strip clubs. I don't know how it is for any I don't know how that is for any other states, but I know in Indiana and Illinois where I worked, they always had a strip club near a like truck stop and then a hotel too, because obviously the truck drivers will stay at the hotel. Okay. The truck drivers made up about 80% of the demographic of the people that went to the strip club. And I was just on my way to say lot lizards. Yes. And the adult video stores. Yep. Yep. Lot lizards. They pretty much hand truck drivers women on a platter. They hand truck drivers women on a platter. You got the lot lizards. You got the lot lizards that are in the lot in the rest stops. You got the adult stores that are in the vicinity of a hotel in the rest stops. And then you also have the strip club that is in the vicinity of the hotel and the rest stops. So they out here, these truck drivers, they out here having the women served to them on a silver fucking platter. So you getting cheated on, sis. If you were a truck driver, you getting cheated on, sis. I don't care how faithful you think he is, how great he is to you, you getting cheated on. Okay, it's no way. He cannot get away from these women. They're all over the place, ready to do whatever. Okay, so for me psychoanalyzing them, they will obviously they're away from home. Okay, they're away from home, so they're on the road for weeks. Maybe if you're lucky and you're with a local, because there are local truck drivers, they just do their truck driving locally, so you might get a little bit lucky if you're with a local truck driver. But they're alone on the road, more of a loner mentality. So once again, they're probably going to have a bit of an issue with an emotional connection. But like I said before, if you're an emotionally avoidant woman, this shit won't bother you. If you don't care about getting cheated on, this shit won't bother you, because truck drivers, they do pretty well for themselves and they're not going to be home very often. So that's the thing. Because they're traveling, a lot of infidelity. And then once again, substances, alcohol, drugs, prostitutes. So that way that they can overcome and cope with their loneliness and cope with whatever other issues it is that they're having. They tend to be hardworking and independent. They can be financially stable and they're good problem solvers. Also, though, the thing with truck drivers, I feel as though they're neglectful of their health. So they do make the truck drivers do like a screening or whatever for like diabetes and things like that, because they don't want the truck drivers to like fall asleep at the wheel. But I don't believe that this is something that they regularly do over time to like keep track of. And I, even when I was dancing, I didn't see very many healthy truck drivers. I honestly didn't. And I couldn't find it. I couldn't fucking find it. I don't know if anyone's seen the TikTok. This TikTok was maybe from a year ago. It was this black man, truck driver, and he made a TikTok damn near crying, hysterical, upset because his wife was leaving him. His wife filed for a divorce, and he was pissed off because when his wife said that she was going to divorce him, he was like, oh, well, you could just take care of everything. Like, just take care of everything. Well, she did take care of everything. She took care of everything so well. He was losing his home. He was losing his money. He was losing everything. Why do you think she divorced him? Because he was on the road and he had her stuck at home with the kids, taking care of everything, doing everything, and he figured, oh well, she doing everything, so she gonna look out for me because she's already doing everything. And guess what? She sure as fuck did everything in her own best interest and left him with no fucking money. And he was so distraught about it. He put his phone out on TikTok, whining and complaining. And it's like, well, what did you think was going to happen? You've allocated everything to her. You've allocated all of the responsibility to her while you are out on the road driving and doing Lord knows what. And now you're crying because she's divorcing you and she's taking all of your money. Like, come on, like, let's make it make sense here. Okay, so for cons, once again, emotional detachment, very, 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 very high chance of infidelity based off of what I told you earlier. And then, like I told you before, they're not going to be in good health. Most truck drivers are not going to be in good health because they're sedentary. They're sitting down for 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day. They're going to have poor mobility issues. You're going to have to take care of a truck driver a lot sooner than you think you would have to because they're in poor health. Next thing are the warning signs. If he's disappearing for days, he's not checking in on you, he's not texting you or anything like that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. If he's always having excuses, he's too tired to talk, he's too busy to talk, you on the road, sir. You could put that little phone magnet up in your car and put the goddamn phone on speaker, or you can use an earpiece. Ain't nobody that busy in the world, okay? Ain't nobody busy in the world. And then if the man has like female friends and shit in other states, no, 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 no. Hey, someone mentioned hygiene for truck drivers. Hygiene is terrible, okay? Hygiene is terrible. So this is funny. So when I used to dance, right, and we used to take them back in the private rooms, I used to kind of like do this thing where I would like kneel down, like they would be sitting, and I would like kneel down and I would like creep up like their legs or whatever, and then like look up at them and then like be like near like their crotch area or whatever to make them like think that I was gonna like do something or whatever to seduce them during the dance. Oh my fucking God. That crotch area on those truck drivers. Oh my God. Whoo, child. It smelled like a whole bomb got set off. I'm like, oh my God, this smells like y'all remember that movie How to Be a Player with Bernie Mac? And he was like, it smelled like Badussy in here, booty, dick, and pussy. I was like, Jesus, it smells like Badussy up in this crotch area. Jesus. Doctors is on the list. I'm almost positive doctors are on the list for today. Yeah, I have doctors on the list. So I'll tell y'all more about why I wouldn't want to deal with a doctor. Yeah, I already talked about construction worker. Yeah, truck drivers always want to be on the phone. That's what I'm saying. If they telling you that they too busy, oh, I'm too busy to talk on the phone. I don't feel like it. Something is wrong because them motherfuckers want to be on the phone all day to pass the time while they drive. So if they having every excuse in the book as to why they want to talk to you, something is up. I've never even met a truck driver. Oh, really? Like, sir, no, I don't want to listen to your mixtape. I imagine them urinating in bottles. I hope you get some coins because you're getting ads. Aw, thank you. My hairdresser dates a trucker. She has her ear pods on the phone with him the whole time, hours. Yes. Like, honestly, I feel like half the time they only have a girlfriend when they're a truck driver because they just want to have someone to talk to. Like, don't you have a male friend that you could talk to all day? Oh, you don't? Okay. Okay. Like half the time, they only want to deal with women to have someone pass, so that way they have a woman to pass by the time with, in my opinion. I met a truck driver on a dating app. He gave me a fake name. I couldn't find him when I did a background check on him. See? See? I deal with truck drivers on a daily basis professionally. They are all the same. I've never seen a buff body truck driver. Hell nah, they bad built as hell. They be scruffy looking, dirty, beer belly. They look hideous, bald. They be wearing that nasty ass cap that they be sweating in. It's the same old cap they wear over and over and over with their greasy ass hair. Ugh, ugh, mm-mm, mm-mm. I used to hate seeing those truck drivers at the club. I'm like, Lord, please, please. As soon as I say, what do you do for work? Oh yeah, I work for Swift. I drive for Swift. I'm like, oh God. Here we go. Why would you date a cop and expect it to go well? I dated a cop once, and like I said, I learned my lesson because I told y'all my other ex, when he told me he was becoming a cop, I broke up with his ass immediately. I'm like, nope, I'm not making the same mistake twice, baby. I'm not making the same mistake twice, baby. And they do smell like gas sometimes. Yes. Yes, Swift hires anybody. Whenever they would tell me Swift, I'm like, oh hell no. Nah. Oh hell no. Nah. You drive it all over the goddamn place. They didn't even make you take a driving test. They probably hired you and you faked your driver's license. Men don't want to talk to other men when they're stressed. They want to talk to a woman. Of course, because men don't offer men the softness, the femininity, the emotional vulnerability like men. Men are always just hard, logical, quick to give an answer, quick to say get over it and like, ugh, like I don't every time I try to take a risk to open up to a man emotionally, I regret it every single time. I've even my own dad. It's just a thing with men. It's just a thing with men. They're incapable of emotionally pouring into you like you would pour into him. Like it's impossible. That's just who they are. That is just who they are. Crotch rots. Yes, I already talked about police officers. Yep. We still got a lot more to go. We do. We still got a lot more to go. Queen Sovereign said, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." Exactly. Hell no. Mm-mm. He told me, "Oh, it's my passion. It's my passion. I want to become a police officer." And at first, I was like, "Yeah, he ain't gonna become a police officer." He was like, "I did the fitness test. I passed the fitness test." I'm like, "Oh shit." I was like, "All right, well," because he was a little chubby. He was a little chubby. So I was like, "Oh, okay, well, you chubby, so maybe you're not gonna make it any further." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do my interview today." And then he's like, "Oh, yep, I passed the interview." And I'm like, "Oh shit, damn, like he really is gonna become a police officer." And so I broke up with him. I said, "Oh shit, damn, he really is gonna become a police officer. I gotta end this thing." Um, okay, so the next one, which we've already kind of been talking about and hinting at, military men. Okay. Military men, I also feel RDL. Okay. I do. I also feel like military men are DL. Military men are submissive. Military men are submissive and they resent the fact that they are submissive. This is the reason why military men are assholes to women. They resent the fact that they have taken orders from another man. And so because they resent the fact that they have taken orders to another man, they've let a man disrespect them, spit in their face, call them all types of names, do all types of stuff to them. They resent that and they take it out on women. Cuz you have to think, whatever men do to a woman, it's been done to them. I believe it. Men who R word women were R worded by someone. Men that beat up on women were beat up by someone else. They transfer everything that has been done to them and they have put it on to another person. This is the reason why men don't want to go to therapy. This is the reason why men don't want to open up and be vulnerable because they understand that if they open up to you and they tell you about their childhood, they tell you about anything that they've had to undergo, it's going to shine a brighter light and it's going to put a deeper lens on what they would potentially do to you. Um, they suppress emotions and they function under extreme pressure. Military men, they want dysfunction. Military men are going to do everything they possibly can to cause dysfunction. They're going to be disrespectful, they're going to be mean, they're going to be aggressive because that's what they're used to working under. They are used to working under very high pressure type of situations. You have to remember, military men have had to undergo psychological warfare to do that job. They have had to undergo psychological warfare in order to do that job. That is not something that you could just leave and turn off. I don't believe that. That is not something that you can just leave and turn off. You may step away from it in some aspects, but there are still remnants because guess what? Memories never leave, especially these men that have went on tours. They have went on tours. They have actually been in combat. They have actually taken a person's life. The memories will never go away. They will never, ever, ever go away. And men are not going to do any of the emotional work that it takes for them to overcome the trauma that they've witnessed. Once again, all they're going to do is transfer it on to another person, and it's typically going to be a woman. So they're going to be controlling. They're going to have a hard time expressing their love, and they're going to have a lot of post traumatic stress disorder outbursts. This is why in the media, why do you think in the media, whenever there's movies, I can't remember that show. I'm trying to remember. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. It's a Marvel show. It's a Marvel show, and the man was in the military. The man was in the military. But the movie Dead Presidents. Y'all remember that movie Dead Presidents with Lorenz Tate? That's literally how they are. That's literally how the memory comes into their brain. That's literally how they are. Dead Presidents is a really good example. And then also when the man is deployed, it will it will be long periods of separation, and then also high infidelity rates because obviously they're going to be out and they're going to be cheating with other people. They're going to have opportunity. Okay, so for the pros: disciplined, structured, hardworking, the ability to provide and protect. I'm not saying that they're guaranteed to do it. They have the ability to do it. And once again, just like with police officers, I feel like in most cases they will abuse the ability that they have to provide and protect a woman. Um they can have a strong sense of loyalty, but usually they're not going to. They're going to be loyal to other men before they're loyal to their woman. And like I told you before, those men are DL, okay? Those men are DL because there was a doctor in here, and the doctor had said that nurses and doctors, in certain other professions, they will bond over how they have to like handle the public, over how they have to handle taking care of people. When these men are going through what they're going through, they're unaliving people, they're going to war, they're seeing very traumatic things, they're bonding with other men over this. They are bonding with other men. Men aren't telling their wives about this shit. Men are not saying, "Oh, I get night sweats. I have nightmares. I'm afraid to I'm afraid to travel. I'm afraid to get on a plane because of XYZ." They're not telling their wives this. Who they are telling this to is another man who they've done this with. And with that emotional vulnerability, they're attracted to these men based off of that emotional vulnerability, and they are sleeping with these men based off of that form of bonding. Okay, so the cons: high divorce rate. So another statistic for you ladies: military military divorce rate is 30% higher than regular civilians. One more time for you. The military divorce rate is 30% higher than civilians. Infidelity risk during deployments, and then obviously emotional suppression. And so the warning signs: PTSD, so post traumatic stress disorder, but he refuses to do anything about it. He doesn't want to go to therapy. He doesn't want to be vulnerable. He doesn't want to talk about these type of things. Get away. Get away, get away, get away. Usually military men expect gender roles. This is why I said that all military men are just glorified. Before when women had no rights and women couldn't earn any money on their own, military men were just paid glorified passport bros because they want those strict gender roles. They're out working and they want you home. They want you to be the homemaker. And then they tend to disappear emotionally. Military men they know how to disassociate. They disassociate a lot from their partner, from their children, from their family. They disassociate because they can only focus on the task at hand. They can only focus on what's in front of them given at that moment because their brain and their judgment, their memory, it's all clouded with all these traumatic experiences. They haven't cleared all that out to have enough emotional openness for you, for their children, their family, things like that. Okay, let me go to the chat. Make sure you guys get the likes up. Get the likes up. Can we at least get the likes up to like 100? Can we do that? Get the likes up, ladies. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Damn, you got a point. They may be more submissive from all that ish they went through. Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. These military men, they hate the fact that they listened to a man and they did everything that another man told them to do. Because you have to think too, when they're done in the military and they come back home, the VA doesn't do anything for these men. The VA does not do anything for these men. I had a patient once who had cancer. He had to wait like 3 months while he had cancer for the VA to give him his chemo treatment, for him to get his medication, for him to start his chemotherapy treatments. And he served in the military. So even when they're done with all of that, they're coming back to be a regular civilian and they don't have any resources. They don't really have any support. They were lied to. They were lied to. So this is another reason why these men that serve in the military, they're so angry because they were lied to. I dated a couple of military men. I come from a military family. Ah, that's the DV. Yes. And the military owns them. Exactly. So true. They give me some vibes when I'm around them. And I've been side eyeing my uncles. Yep. My uncle was in the military and bullied his daughter terribly. She left home at 18 and hasn't talked to him since. Only her mom, and she's in her 30s now. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I'm just sad that I'm not a lesbian at this point. I will have to do a video on that talking about compulsory compulsory heterosexual, pretty much the train of thought that as women we were groomed like men. I am a firm believer that we were groomed to like men. We were trained to be heterosexual. I genuinely don't believe that naturally we are heterosexual. Personally, I don't believe that. But that'll be another subject for another day. My last two exes were military and they love to argue. Yes, because they want to yell at somebody. They got yelled at, and all they do is when they're in the military, that's why they have ranking. I told you guys, men like hierarchies. Men like hierarchies. You have the sergeant, the commander, the SPT or whatever that is. They have all of those rankings for a reason. They want to argue because they want to feel like they're dominating. They want to feel like they're empowered. They want to feel like they're telling you what to do. I don't think she mentioned farmers. I don't think farmers is on either one of my list, child. I don't. I tried to use professions that are mostly male dominated, but also very, very common. We don't have a lot of farmers anymore. We don't have a whole lot of farmers anymore. So that's only going to be if you live in like more of a rural area. They done bought out all the farmers. And my friend literally just sent me an article about this couple in Georgia, and their farmland is like it's been seized. The government has seized their farmland. Yes, my uncle hated his daughter and made promises out of nowhere with her. It scared my sister, and I feel so bad anytime we had a visit. That's terrible. Pretty sure they were secretly gay. Yes. Lots of PTSD. When I told my Air Force ex-boyfriend that he was right, he would get mad and ask why I was fighting him. Mm-mm. Yeah, that's the only thing. They just got good benefits. That's it. Good benefits. My mom married a military guy, paraplegic. He picked fights constantly. She left after 9 months. You got to be a damn fool to be a paraplegic in picking fights. You got to be a damn fool to be a paraplegic picking fights. Like, I just can't take this wheelchair and just. Like, what? You're arguing and you're a paraplegic. I will flip this wheelchair over and shut you up so fast. Big infidelity issues. They cheat hard. I literally don't know why any woman would even remotely be interested in a military man. Me either. When they are in the Navy and trapped on that shit, baby, your boyfriend may have a boyfriend. That's all I will say. I agree. What about veterans? I'm currently talking to someone who was in the military. We went to high school together and we have reconnected. He seems pretty chill and laid back. He was in the military, though. He was in the military, though. That's the thing. And the thing about it is that the older they are, and when they were in the military a long time ago, that's even worse. That's even worse. Because they're back in the day, they were really trained to not care about their mental health. They were really trained to be hard and be masculine and things like that. The men now are a little bit softer. That's the reason why a lot of men are not going into the military like they used to, because we don't have the media promoting these men to be hard and to be masculine and to go into the military and things like that. So, in my opinion, everything I'm telling you is still going to apply to this man, even though he's a veteran. I'm late. Did you add military men to the list? Yeah, I just finished military. Get the likes to 100 and I will go on to the next thing. Just 3 more likes, ladies. Just 3 more likes. I saw this Instagram video of this girl calling into this podcast, and she said that she doesn't know how to leave her paralyzed, abusive boyfriend. Like, why you gonna be afraid to leave a paralyzed, abusive boyfriend? What he gonna do? Run after you? What he gonna do? Run after you? He can't run after you. He can't do nothing. He in a wheelchair. Like, what? You could crawl away from a paralyzed man. You ain't even got to run. You ain't even got to walk. You could crawl away from a paralyzed man that's being abusive. I just want them to give me my money and leave me the fuck alone. Exactly. Okay, we'll go to the next one. All right. Okay. So people already said it in the chat. Surgeons and doctors. Okay. Surgeons and doctors. So doctors, but there's specific types of doctors, okay, that are far more worse than just any other type of doctor. Surgeons and anesthesiologists. Anyone that has worked in healthcare, when you put on them blue scrubs, when you put on that hairnet, or you put on the bunny suit, whatever you got to put on at your facility to go into the surgery area, that area is cold. And it's cold for a reason. It's not only cold to prevent infections and bacteria and things like that, it's cold because the people that work in that environment are cold. Okay. That's the reason why they're working on people who are under anesthesia. They're out, they're not conscious, they're not there. That's the reason why there will be people who will say, "Oh, well, I heard them talking shit about me during my surgery, or they were being rude." There was even a woman, she put a recording device in her hair when she was getting surgery and recorded everything that the surgeon, the anesthesiologist, all those people, it was recording every fucking thing that they were saying. They were highly disrespectful. Oh, and then also men that work in the emergency room. Men that work in the emergency room as well. Um, Men that do these professions when they're doctors, they have to make life or death decisions. Men don't have empathy. Okay? Men don't have empathy. Men are men are emotionally void. Okay? When it comes to emotions, there's nothing there. That's the reason why they commit crimes. That's the reason why they commit crimes. There's not their soul is empty. Their spirit is dead. There's nothing there. They don't feel anything. So when they're going into professions like medicine, it will numb them emotionally over time. They won't feel they won't feel anything when it comes to them seeing death, seeing people go with cancer. We already did a video with me explaining to you all that men are 7 times more likely than women to leave when a woman is ill. And you talking about someone that is seeing this time and time and time again with women who are ill, with patients who are ill. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Seeing that over and over and over will make them even more numb to emotions and processing their emotions. Also, they have a God complex. Okay. Someone asked me, why won't you deal with a doctor? It's the fucking God complex. I've gotten written up by doctors. I've gotten written up by doctors because I'm not going to just bow down to them. I'm not just going to bow down to them. I had one doctor, I was on call. I got called in to do an exam. I did the exam and the doctor was like, "Well, what did you see? What did you see?" And I was like, there I just started working there. I just started freaking working there. And one thing about me, I'm a rule follower when I start working at a place. I don't want no issue with no radiologist getting pissed off at me because I told the doctor the result and it wasn't dictated. I'm at a whole new place. I'm not familiar with the culture. I don't feel comfortable giving an ER doctor the results and it has been dictated by a radiologist and I don't know these radiologists. If I don't know these radiologists and if I don't agree with what they call what, I'm not giving you the results. So when he asked me, "Oh, well, what did you see?" I told him straight up, "What, you got to wait for the report. You got to wait for the report." I got called in the office the following Monday and the doctor wrote me up about it. They had complained about it. I was in ultrasound, but I'm done. I'm done. I'm just going to content create. I'm done. I'm done with the medical field. I'm tired of their asses. So yeah, God complexes because I didn't kiss his ass and tell him, oh doctor, yes, I see gallstones, I see hepatic steatosis. I was like, no, read the radiology report because I don't know these radiologists and I'm not about to tell somebody, oh, they have gallstones or oh, they have this and oh, they have that. Nope, not doing it because some of these doctors, you'll know exactly what the fuck the pathology is, and you go and read the report, and the radiologist did not agree with you. Did not agree with you. I've had ectopic pregnancies. I knew it was an ectopic pregnancy. I read the report, radiologist did not agree with me. Imagine if a doctor asked me, "Oh, what did you see on this what did you see on this pregnant patient?" "Oh, I saw an ectopic." What if they go rush this girl to surgery? What if they go rush this girl to surgery and then the radiology report comes in and they disagree with me and they say that she doesn't have an ectopic? Then it's my fucking fault. Then it's my license on the line. Nope. Going ahead and read the report. I'm not giving you the results just because you're the ER doctor. So they wrote me up for it. Oh fucking well. I don't care. Also their work schedule. They have a very brutal work schedule. They'll work anywhere between 60 to 100 hours a week. They're going to be flirting with the nurses. They're going to be screwing the nurses. It's the reason why on Grey's Anatomy, they was showing all them sex scenes in Grey's Anatomy because that's what they doing at work. That is what they doing at work, okay? Like, and usually because they're doing all this shit at work, they're not going to be intimate when they come home anyway. They're going to be too tired and they've already unloaded themselves while they've been at work. Okay? So by the time they come home to you anyway, they going to take a shower and go to sleep. In most cases, they're going to be too exhausted emotionally and physically. Okay, so the pros. Obviously, they make a lot of money. They do. They make a lot of money. Doctors aren't generous. In my experience, doctors aren't generous. They make a lot of money, but they aren't generous. Always remember, ladies, you don't need a rich man. You need a generous man. A man does not have to be rich in order to be generous. If he got money, he ain't giving it to you. Him having money don't make a difference. It's as if he has no money because he's not giving it to you. They're intelligent. They're highly ambitious. Those are all admirable things. All very, very admirable things. They're problem solvers. They're goal oriented. Great qualities. For the cons, workaholic. So you're always going to be second place. He's always going to have to go to work. And the thing about it too is that, like, if you're with a real ambitious doctor, he's going to want to be over the bioethics board. He's going to be over the radiology tumor board. So there's a lot of these doctors that are real ambitious. They're going to add more onto their plate on top of being a physician. So you're really not going to have a whole lot of time with them. You're really not. You're going to always be in second place. They're perfectionists, a lot of these doctors, very neurotic, very neurotic. And they're going to have a strong emotional detachment because they're robotic. A lot of these physicians, they're very robotic. They're numb to death. Okay, they're numb to grieving, they're numb to mourning because they're seeing it all the time. So they don't have much empathy, they don't have much emotional openness to your concerns, to your issues, to your feelings. They don't care about that because they're numb to it all at this point. Okay, so for the warning signs, canceling plans over work, constantly canceling plans over work. Like I said before, you're going to be in second place, point blank period. When you're dealing with a physician, you're going to be second place. Most of the time, they're going to see emotions as you being illogical. A lot of doctors do that. You're too emotional. You're not thinking with logic. You're really going to hear that with these physicians. Because like I told you before, they're around this stuff so much. They're numb to it. They don't think twice about it. They have no empathy, a lot of them. So your concerns, your feelings, your issues, they're going to be dismissive of all of that. Work-life balance. A lot of these doctors don't have any work-life balance. Zero zilch. No work-life balance at all whatsoever. So the weekend will come. He might be off of work. He will want to stay home and have you go out with the kids, with just you and the kids, because he's tired. He's not going to go out with you and the kids. He's too tired. Doctors have a 20 to 30% divorce rate, and it's even higher for surgeons. Once again, doctors have a 20 to 30% divorce rate, and it's higher for surgeons due to long hours. Surgeons have the highest infidelity rate in medicine. I repeat, surgeons have the highest infidelity rate in medicine. 29% of surgeons admit to cheating. The reason being is because the surgeon is usually a male. They're going to have the nurses in there who are women. They're going to have the surgical tech in there who is also a woman. It's very small rotations between the nurses and the surgical techs. And you also have to think, surgeons are assholes. Surgeons are fucking assholes. When I did x-ray, because I did x-ray before I did ultrasound, I used to hate going to surgery and x-ray because those surgeons, they'll cuss at you, they'll yell at you, they'll scream at you. My old orthopedic doctor literally made the newspaper because he's a surgeon also, and he made it in the paper because the nurses that he worked with reported him, and they said that when he was in surgery, he threw a used tool at them. He threw it at them during the surgery. Surgeons are on a whole nother level. They're on a whole fucking other level. For a man to become a surgeon, men that are surgeons, I don't trust them. Something is wrong with them. Something is wrong with them. And yes, dentists, something's wrong with them too. I think dentists have the highest unaliving rate. Dentists have the highest unaliving rate out of all of the out of all the medical professionals. I think dentists have the highest one. I'm in school now to be a surgical rec, and they do tell us the surgeons are mean. The surgeons are mean as hell. The surgeons are mean as hell. Because the thing about it is this, you have to think, men, I forgot how they call it, the saying that they have for men and women's brains. Men don't know how to multitask. They don't. Men don't know how to multitask. Women are much better multitaskers than men are. So when men are performing surgery, I always see it in medicine. When male doctors, when things don't go their way, when it's like not a normal case or they're having issues in surgery, they just start freaking the fuck out. They start cussing, they start getting disrespectful, they start freaking the fuck out. They just take it out on anybody. Anyone that's there, as soon as something goes wrong, as soon as they fuck up something, as soon as a tool isn't out 3 seconds after they say what tool it is they want, they're cussing someone out, yelling, raising their voice, being disrespectful. Damn, I forgot you worked healthcare. So you know for real. Good for you for standing on business. Yes, ultrasound techs say this, and I understand, but I do ask them what they saw. Oh my gosh, that's so dangerous. Like I said, if it's a place and I've worked there long enough and I like understand like the radiologists and how they read and how they dictate, after a while, I have no problem. But this was like my second week working there. And so I wasn't really comfortable with the radiologist dictations yet. You know what I mean? I wasn't 100% comfortable. Usually I like to give it like 4 to 6 weeks before I just start saying, oh, I saw XYZ. Oh, I saw this to the doctor, because then I will feel confident enough to say, the radiologist will agree with me. But when I'm new, usually the radiologists aren't going to trust you. And so they won't always agree with what it is that you're they won't always agree with what it is that you are giving in the report. So that's the reason why I didn't tell the doctor. It was just based off of, I don't want to give the wrong information because I'm new here, and they like to pick on the new ultrasound techs. And sometimes based off of ego, they'll purposely disagree with you just because you're new. And I always care about the patient. And I know the doctor is asking because they care about the patient too, but the radiologist dictates the report for a reason. And I think all he had was gallstones anyway. So it wasn't even like he had something that was going to be operated on immediately. You know what I'm saying? My friend is married to anesthesiologist, and oh boy, right, sis. I wait for the report. The nurses cook for the males and let us female doctors starve. Yep. Did it freeze up or is it my bootleg Wi-Fi? Let me see. Nope. I have my 5G Wi-Fi going on. So it should be crystal clear. Yes, I have never met a generous doctor. Me neither. They're generous with their mistress. I wish people would stop normalizing work husbands, work wives. That's dirty. The thing about it is this, I pay attention to human nature. Okay. At the end of the day, you have to remember, getting married, monogamy, all those things, those are all social norms. Okay. Someone created that. Nature, based off of what we see with nature, people aren't monogamous. People are going to work, sleeping with other people. I pay attention to what is reflected back to me, what humans are choosing to do. Humans are choosing to go to work, and they are going to emotionally bond with someone, because you have to think of it like this. People connect over similarities. People connect over shared experiences. The one person that you marry is not going to be the only person that you have shared experiences with. That's not going to be the only person that you are going to bond with on an emotional level. Once a human bonds with another human on an emotional level, they bond with someone over a shared experience. It's human nature for most of them to want to just, especially men, I would say men more than women, naturally it's going to increase their inhibitions to want to say, okay, fuck it, like I'm attracted to this person, and now I'm willing to act on my attraction. Am I justifying it? No. But is that what humans are out here doing? Yes. Female nurses bring food for the male doctors and try to match them with their daughters if they're too old themselves. Y'all, I'm telling you, white women do this. White women become nurses just to get a doctor. Like, I've seen it. I fucking seen it. White women will become nurses just to get a doctor. There have even been women who, white women, they became nurses. They try to go after a doctor rejected them, and so because they got rejected, they wanted to make an allegation on the doctor because they got rejected. I've seen it. I've seen it, and my mother has seen it as well. Yes, being a single woman at a 9 to 5 is wild. They be trying it. Yeah, just joined. Hey, so what about not becoming lonely? Plus, people spend more time at work than home. Exactly. And there's still women out here that's like, he's not cheating at work. He's not cheating at work. And I tell women all the time, y'all make it seem as if these men don't bust a nut in 2 minutes. That's all it takes for these men. And they don't care where they do it. They'll do it in a car, they'll do it in a bathroom, they'll do it in an alley. Women out here thinking that they talking to a girl at work for 6 months, getting to know her, meeting her parents, doing it on a bed. They're not doing any of that. They're not doing any of that. They're like, oh, she's hot. We have a few things in common. All right, we can leave for work on our lunch break. All right, let's do a quickie in the car real quick. And boom, there you go. You've just been cheated on. That's how simple it is. It is typically not this overcomplicated thing that women are making out to be, where it's just so hard for men to do this. It's extremely easy for men to do this. Sounds like Michigan Motel strip club in the same area. It's like that in the Midwest. It really is, because it's like that in Indiana too. That's so pathetic, but it's true. Yep. Call rooms, closet, bathrooms, break rooms. I'm telling you. I listen. If it's dark and if it has something that can lock, you can either lock a door, or it's dark where no one can see. They're doing it. They're doing it in that space. They are so crafty. I side eye, but I like the audacity. Nurses are desperate sometimes. My sister is a nurse and she won't leave her dusty. Nurses just, it makes me so sad. Men are very, very good at taking advantage of the nurturing side of nurses. This is why nurses are always with dusties. They'll be with dusties, they'll be with men with no house, no car, no job. When men want to come up, the first person they're going to go to is a nurse and take advantage of her nurturing nature to get what they want. Plus, people, yep, I read that. Okay, I think I'm all caught up. This makes me nervous about going into any surgery. Girl, I avoid surgery at all costs. I don't trust them goddamn surgeons at all. I've seen too much. I've seen too much. I avoid surgery at all costs. I'm terrified of surgery. I'm terrified of surgery, and especially as a black woman, child, I'm scared. To all black women who gave birth in a hospital, and you're alive, and your baby's alive, and you both are safe, and you both are healthy, you should be so grateful. You should be so grateful, because the mortality rate for black women having birth in a hospital, your mortality rate is 200% higher. 200. It is higher than those of white women. If you went to a hospital as a black woman and had a child and you're still alive to this day, you should be exceptionally grateful. Exceptionally grateful. Someone said, but why is that? Girl, racism still exists. Racism still exists. And unfortunately, in medicine, a lot of this stuff is like, a lot of these practices are prehistoric still. You have to think, medical research didn't even start on women, okay? Just women. Medical research did not start on women until around the 1990s. Everything before that was only done on men. They would practice on black women, and they literally would have black women deliver babies. They would do surgery on black women and give them no anesthesia because they were under the impression that black women had a higher tolerance for pain as opposed to white people. And these are practices that are, although they're ancient, this is still being taught in medical school. This is still being taught in medicine. I also have a very strong tie to this because both of my great grandparents died in medical care. They both died in the hospital. My great grandparents are from Tennessee. They both died under hospital care. So I have a very, very strong tie to what happens in the medical. That's like the main reason why I got into the medical field. That's the main reason why I got into it because both of my great grandparents both died under medical care. Back when my grandmother had babies and her sister had babies, if you were a black woman, you had like a 24-hour turnaround time to have a baby and then get released. The white women that had babies got to stay at the hospital a lot longer. So there's always been oppression in the healthcare system between the patients and the workers that work there that are people of color. It's always been like that. There was a black woman recently found unalived on the roof of a hospital a few days ago. What? I did not know about that. Wow. What can black women do to stop it? Become the change you want to see. Either advocate, so you need to like do research and start speaking about these things publicly, and you need to get into a line of work where you can prevent this from happening. Become a certified nursing midwife, become a doula, or do something where you're actually in the medical field. You're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're actually in the field, or you are at least spreading awareness about what is happening. Yep, if I was a black woman, I had already said I don't want to have children, but I always had said that if I ever decided that I was going to have a child, I would never have a child in a hospital. I would never have a child in a hospital as a black woman. I would get a doula and I would have a birth at home. I would never have a hospital. I would never, ever, ever do a birth in a hospital. Nope. A black woman died while giving birth in Woodhill Hospital in Brooklyn just last week. When I lived in Brooklyn, there was another black woman that died of birth in the fall. I want to say it was around September. And they were talking about it in the news. It's been like a crisis in New York City of black women dying in childbirth. They've talked about it on the news several times. That's how that man, he had a lawsuit against Mount Sinai in New York City. His wife gave birth or was about to give birth. And she said that she was feeling faint, she was feeling sick, she was feeling weak. He cut the call light on, and they said that they were supposed to they said, "Oh, we're going to come in and we're going to take her for a CT." They never came. They never got her a CT scan. She bled out to death. And he did sue Mount Sinai. I'm pretty sure he won, but he did sue the hospital. She bled out to death. They never came for her to give her any type of care. I think we should promote being child free. And if that isn't desirable, then become a midwife and maybe open a birthing center with more natural birthing procedures. I love giving prenatal massage and I have attended several clients' home birth. See, I want to do that, but I don't want to get in trouble. I know at my job, family members be trying to talk in code. I'd be like, why? But I get it now. My thing is this: you have to care about wanting to get in trouble. You have to care about wanting to get in trouble. The reason why we're in a crisis that we're in now is because too many people are afraid to get in trouble. Too many people are afraid of repercussions. If everyone woke up, listen, just imagine this. If everyone orchestrated today, because like, let's just be real, right? In the United States, the inflation is through the roof. Everything costs a lot of money, and your wages are not catching up with the inflation, right? Imagine if everyone woke up today and no one went to work. No one. The whole country. No one went to work. No one fucking went to work. The government would be freaking the fuck out. They wouldn't know what to do. They would not know what to do. This is the reason why the government created separatism. They separated us by class. They separated us by race. And then even within our race, we're separated by hair texture. We're separated by skin shade. We're separated by where you live. You're separated by how you talk. There's so many levels of separatism, and this is done on purpose. That way people can come together as a collective and make a change. This is all done on purpose. That's right. I'm Arabic and I have been in rehab. They told me to increase the medications and I refused. Now I barely can have a job. I don't know what's going on. My middle name is Arabic actually. It is. My name is middle name is Arabic. Um I actually was named after an Arabic woman that my mom was friends with. That she went to summer school with actually. Yes, we the people can make the change and don't be scared. Yeah, you got people gotta stop. People gotta stop being fearful. Like yesterday with that whole Kendrick Lamar thing with the Super Bowl show, I was like, who knows? They probably will shut my shit down, but I don't care. I'm like, it's a risk I'm taking. I don't give a fuck if they shut it down. If they shut it down, who cares? Whatever. The people need to know what it is that I see. Whether people agree with me, whether they don't agree with me, I'm gonna tell them what it is. I'm gonna tell them what it is that I am seeing. And obviously, I knew what the fuck I was talking about because they shut my shit down. I recently had surgery while recovering. The white nurse had the audacity to tell me that I look good and I could go home. Mind you, I'm barely 2 hours recovered and still woozy from the anesthesia. I've seen the difference. Okay. I've seen the difference. When I worked in healthcare, I made it my mission to work in community hospitals. Community hospitals where the population, where the demographic was primarily going to be Black. I would see this repeatedly. I cannot tell you how many Black women would come into the ER, have an ectopic, and then they would just get sent home with the ectopic. They wouldn't be getting the methotrexate. They wouldn't go get sent for a DNC. They would get sent home with a known ectopic, and then come back. They would come back, and then we do another ultrasound, and then they would want to decide that they would want to take them to surgery, do a DNC, and do all of this stuff. They always would send them home. Always. This is the reason why it's really, really important for you to advocate for yourself as a woman. You know, when you are in the hospital and certain things are happening for you, or certain things are happening to you, because you also have to remember, race aside, just you being a woman, medical professionals are taught to dismiss your pain. Okay, they are taught to dismiss your complaints. So when you are in pain, when you know something is wrong, you have to listen to your intuition. My best friend, for instance, one of my really good friends, she's Mexican. She was bleeding. She went to the hospital. They did an ultrasound on her. She was pregnant, second trimester. They do the ultrasound. She gets the result. They told her that the ultrasound was placenta previa. Placenta previa is like this is your cervix, right? Hold on. So this is your cervix. And then this, like my hand, this is your placenta. So this is your cervix. We'll make it smaller so that it's closed. This is your cervix and this is your placenta. Placenta previa is when your placenta covers your cervix. Your placenta is supposed to be over here, far over here with your cervix. Placenta previa is when your placenta covers the cervix. Her intuition told her, I don't have placenta previa. I don't have placenta previa. She told me, she said, I knew I didn't have placenta previa. She left that hospital. She went to another hospital. It turns out she had placental abruption. Placental abruption is so you have your uterus, right? So you have your uterus and you have the baby inside of the uterus. The placenta is what lines the uterus. The placenta pulled away. The placenta pulled away from her uterus. She had to go into surgery. She had a 50% chance of dying. Her baby ended up dying. This is why you have to pay attention to your intuition and advocate for yourself and put your foot down when you know something is wrong. Because if you don't, they're not going to either. They're not going to do it either. Because if she was like any other person, she would have went home and thought nothing of it. And if she would have done that, she probably wouldn't be alive today. She probably wouldn't be alive today. So it's important that you understand what's going on with your body and you put your foot down when you know that something is wrong. I'm trying to file a lawsuit against her. That was just wrong. As I was walking, I was still heavily sedated, holding on to the wall, in and out of consciousness. Please, Black women, we have rights. Exactly. Yep. Okay, so sorry, I know I like really veered off of the subject there. Okay, so the next profession that we're going to talk about is lawyers. So lawyers argue for a living, okay? Lawyers know how to manipulate. It's what they do for a living. So don't think that if you're with a lawyer, they're not going to try to manipulate you. They're not going to try to get you into predicaments where you are they're going to lie to you. They're going to argue with you. They're going to debate you. That's what they went to school for. That's what they went to school for. And then also, lawyers are grimy. Okay. Lawyers have a win at all costs mentality. I will do anything it is that I have to win. I will lie. I will manipulate. I will steal. They will do anything. They will do anything possible to get what they want. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care who's involved. They don't care. They don't give a fuck about any of that. As long as they can walk away winning, they'll do whatever it is that they want. So if you marry a lawyer, I hope you have no intentions to divorce one. I hope you have no intentions to divorce one. Because if you try to divorce a lawyer, you're going to be asked out in most cases. They're going to make it so that you get divorced and you leave with nothing. You have nothing. Large egos, obviously. Very, very, very large egos. And because they always want to be right, it's going to be very difficult for them to ever admit when they're wrong. Okay, so usually they're not going to take accountability for anything because they want to be right so badly. Lawyers are also workaholics. They're going to have cases and litigations and things like that. And they have like a very, very high work schedule. Also, they're probably usually screwing their paralegal as well, too. Usually the paralegals are always women. I don't know. I feel like they'd also screw the paralegal. Honestly. Yeah, I talked about police officers and truck drivers already. Okay, so pros. They're financially stable, obviously. Financially stable ambitions. Obviously, you have to be both of those for you to go to school like 6 to 8 plus to 10 plus years to become a lawyer or a doctor, all those things. Articulate, intelligent, good at problem solving. Cons, highly argumentative. Okay, you gonna feel like you just got summoned to court arguing with their asses. I object. I object. No. High egos. And then, like I said before, they're going to gaslight you. They're going to manipulate you. This is what they do for work. All they care about is winning the argument and getting what they want out of the argument. They don't care about manipulating you. The warning signs. He never apologizes. Okay. Never apologizes. And he will always find a way to be right. He will deflect the blame and he will twist words. Like I said before, they're very manipulative and they tend to prioritize their career over love. So just like with doctors, you're going to come second place. You're going to come second place dealing with them. Here's some statistics for you when it comes to lawyers. Lawyers have a 26% divorce rate, which is higher than the national average. One more time. 26% divorce rate for lawyers, higher than the national average. Most common cause of divorce for lawyers is workaholism and infidelity. Like I told you, they're screwing the paralegals. All right, the next one. Engineers and IT professionals. The men that work in IT, they're very logical, very structured, very analytical. So they are practical. But once again, they're going to be very, very emotionally disconnected, okay? Because they're seeing the world of a lens of problem solving. That's what engineers have to do. There's something broken, they must fix it. Okay, they must fix it. So usually they are always going to look at facts over feelings. Facts over feelings. They're going to look at everything from an objective lens. Everything. Also, usually men that are in engineering and that are in IT, they don't really need to be social for that job. So typically, they're not going to have that great of strong social skills. Okay. I feel like most of them are socially awkward. I do. I feel like most of them are socially awkward. Um, because that job doesn't require any emotional intelligence either. It doesn't, because they're not really having to deal with like another person. There's just like a computer or things like that. Emotionally, or not emotionally, socially, they're a little awkward. And then also they're not really all that romantic. They don't have any understanding or aspects of romantic spontaneity. They don't really know how to plan things. Yeah, emotionally and on a societal level, when it comes to their interactions, they're a little off. Um, but like everyone is saying, job is stable. They make great money. Okay. So as long as they're generous, they would make great providers. They are logical and they have a problem solving mindset, which for sure comes in handy. For sure comes in handy because they are socially awkward. This is the good thing. Because they're socially awkward, they're usually going to be faithful. They're usually going to be faithful because most engineer and IT men are fucking lames. Most of them are lame. Most of them are lame. Most of them have no swag. Most of them aren't cool. Most of them aren't players. They're socially awkward. So usually you ain't gonna have to worry about another woman. You ain't gonna have to worry about another woman that's dealing with them. Okay, so for cons, emotionally they're gonna be unavailable, poor communication skills. And then, like I mentioned before, very rigid thinking. They won't really be able to adapt well to your emotional needs. And then they're socially awkward, okay? And they won't, you're going to have to pretty much tell them what to do when it comes to how you want the romance to look because they're not going to know what the hell to do, okay? And so the warning signs. He avoids deep emotional conversations. Usually they don't want to go to therapy. And they're probably going to be like waist deep in work too. However, only 20% of engineers get divorced. That's because they're less likely to get married in the first place. Like I said before, the biggest thing with engineers, they're socially awkward. They're socially awkward. How is a man that is socially awkward going to know what to do in order to even get a woman to like him, to even get a woman to notice him when he's socially awkward? They're typically not going to even be in a predicament to ask a woman to marry them in the first place. They tend to have a lot of social anxiety and they tend to be very, very introverted. Okay. They tend to be very, very introverted. I love IT men. They keep it simple and at times don't mind giving you their credit card. Yes, my IT guy is good in bed though. Listen, the man with like the largest PP I ever seen was an IT guy. And one of my exes is an IT guy, and he was great in bed. And he actually was like very, very generous. He actually wasn't a lame though, and the reason why he wasn't a lame is because he was a club promoter first. So I had a club promoter sprinkled with a man that was in IT. So he definitely wasn't lame. He definitely wasn't lame, but we all know about how club promoters are. But that was like the reason why I was with him because we were young and I was in the city and I wanted to go to all the popping clubs and the bars and I have to wait in the lines and all those things. I just wanted to like pretty much use him for his connections on top of all of the other things obviously that he had to offer. And that relationship honestly wasn't bad either. Queen not about to get nan woman married. Woman in here married. These women can get married. I don't, if they want to get married, they'll get married. I give them the women in here. What I'm giving them, if they want to get married, they'll be able to. I want the women married to someone worthy and good. That's the biggest thing. Marriage is worth nothing if you're not married to a person that's worthy. IT guys just be ready to plan all dates and tell him to give you the credit card. That's the thing about IT guys. They're submissive. You could tell them what to do and they'll do it. That is a good thing with them, like being nerdy. It's just the socially awkward thing. There's a lot of women that they can't overcome that. It's kind of like that. When I think of an IT guy, I think of Danny Glover. I do. I think of Danny Glover or like Childish Gambino. I think of like that type of archetype when I think of an IT guy, kind of just nerdy looking, not too popular, nothing really special about him, kind of just like nerdy, a little weird. That's who I think of. They are good if you're a woman who knows what she wants. My mom gets my dad to just take her on trips and he is just her companion. Yeah, like I said, they're submissive. Is if you don't mind telling a man what to do, they're perfect. They are. They're perfect. I had no issue with the man in IT. All men stalk their exes. Be so for real. Just choose one with money and hair. I've learned to embrace the nerds. Plot twist. What men are good for dating and marriage? Can you name the career field? Okay, I said this at the beginning of the live, so I'm just going to say it again because a lot of women are asking me questions on, well, who do I marry? Who do I date? There is no profession, there is no career that is going to 100% solidify a man being worth dating, a man being worth marrying, a man worth being, a father. Because, excuse me, men aren't just their profession. They're not just their profession. They're a reflection of their upbringing. They're a reflection of the trauma that they have endured. They're not a monolith. So I caution women to base men being marriageable or not just based off of their profession. Okay. It's not safe to do that. It's not safe to do that at all. Please don't say, well, I'm gonna get me a lawyer. I'm gonna get me a doctor. Y'all, it's doctors and lawyers and IT men out here who get in the field just to take advantage of women. Okay, just to take advantage of it. Have any of y'all watched that movie? The movie that talked about Edward Snowden. He worked in IT. He worked in IT, and when he was working in IT, it was men that he worked with. They connected to the cameras of people, just regular civilians like me and you. The men that he worked with would get and hack into the cameras of women and see these women naked, see these women doing sexual acts. There are men that get into these professions just to prey on women, just to get closer to women. So I'm never going to tell you guys there is a foolproof profession where it's guaranteed that the man is going to be great and be this good person. I would be leading you all down a road of despair and giving you all terrible advice if I ever were to do that. This is the reason why I'm giving you pros and cons. I'm giving you statistics. I'm giving you warning signs. I'm not just saying 100% avoid these people, only date these type of people. No, not every firefighter is horrible. Not every police officer is horrible. That's why I'm giving you guys statistics so you can know how these fare out with other types of professions. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh my God, you said Norbit. If you like the IT guy, why didn't you stay with him? Because I was doing much better. So when I met him, I got my first degree. Um, No, when I got with him, I was finishing my first met him when I was just finishing my first degree. Okay. I went right back to school. So as soon as I graduated, I went right back to school for my second degree. He tried to make it seem like he was taking care of me, and he was not taking care of me. He had it planted in his head that because I was going over to his house on the weekend, he was a provider. And I'm like, bro, you're not a provider. Like, I live with my parents, I live with my family. I only kick it with you on the weekend. Mind you, I got to drive to you on the weekend because you live in the city and you don't have a car. So it ain't even like you can come to me. He felt like once I got my second degree, he felt like I was fooling myself. He would say, "You're beside yourself now that you got your second degree," because I was making more money than him, and he felt threatened. He felt threatened by the fact that I was now in a position where I was out earning him. He was a plain hater. So guess what I did? Guess what I did? We broke up, right? And I got a bomb ass place in Chicago. I got a bomb ass place in Chicago. I got me a high rise in the South Loop, floor to ceiling windows, like beautiful fucking place. He was living in Pilsen. Okay. Anyone from Chicago, if you're familiar with Pilsen, Pilsen is it's a majority Hispanic neighborhood. There's no high rises there. It's like three flats there in Chicago. And he had a roommate. He had a roommate. And his roommate couldn't stand him. So his roommate moved out and he could never find another roommate after that. So that tells you a lot about him. But what I did was I broke up with him, but I needed someone to move the stuff into my apartment because I got my apartment during the pandemic. And so the production times for furniture and stuff like that was real slow. So we got back together. Okay. I had him get back together because he worked from home and I needed someone there for my delivery packages, for my furniture. So I just got back with him. I just got back with him so he could be at the crib for my delivery packages and stuff. He invited, listen to this, he invited his homeboys over to my place when I wasn't there and didn't even fucking ask me. The only reason why I knew that he did it is because he said, "Oh, yeah, so and so said that your bathroom is huge." I said, "Excuse me? Who said that my bathroom was huge?" Now, mind you, I had met this gentleman plenty of times. It actually was his cousin. But I don't know about y'all. I don't know about y'all. I don't invite other people over to someone's place and not ask them if that person can like come over, especially if we're not together. Because at the time, we weren't really technically together. And so I was like, you showed your friends my place. You showed my friends your place as if it was our place, as if it was your place. And like you didn't even ask me. I don't even think I was even in the place for a month. I hadn't even lived in the place for a fucking month. And I was just like, bruh, I was too mad. But yeah, he was jealous. He was jealous for sure and insecure. I like artists and chefs. Chefs are very caring. I think I have chefs. I think I have chefs and artists on the second list. Exactly. A man is still a man no matter where he works. Exactly. That's it. That's all. Most promoters I met were super lame and glazed anybody with a name. I dated an IT guy and he had a garden and loved to give me flowers from his garden. He was romantic, so sweet, but he moved to another country, but we're still friends. Aww. Damn, we have a lot in common. My IT guy was also a DJ. Thank you for thanks to you, sis, and the chat. Oh, thank you, Rap MDTV. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. All right. So we're on number 9. Okay. We only have 2 more before we wrap this up. So, number 9, personal trainers and gym bros. Okay. Personal trainers and gym bros. If anyone doesn't know, if you're new here, okay, I did bodybuilding. I did bodybuilding for about 3 years. So I've attracted quite a few gym bros, personal trainers. I've dated a personal trainer. Yeah. So let's get into that. So, for my psychoanalysis of the personal trainers, gym bros, a lot of these men, they live in the gym and they are going to prioritize their physique over everything. A lot of these men have a physique over their ego, especially now. Especially now, because these men out here looking like Big Papa. They drinking that Hennessy, they eating them chicken wings, they got all that estrogen. They out here with ass and titties, a lot of these men. So these men that think that they are to these men that are very very fit, okay, these men that are very very fit, I told you it's all about hierarchies to men. It's all about hierarchies to men. So they already putting themselves on a pedestal because they got some nice arms, they got a little six pack and all that stuff. So they already feeling themselves because they ain't looking like how most of these guys are. Because now, I would say now a man being fit is really a status symbol because a lot of these men are not going to the gym. A lot of these men are not taking care of their health like how they used to do back in the day because they've glorified the dad bod. They've glorified men not taking care of themselves. I feel like the standards are very, very low now. They can have obsessive tendencies about their diet, their body image, their discipline, body dysmorphia, and that can spill into relationships. They also constantly work around fit people, attractive people, and they may flirt as a part of networking or client building. Men that are personal trainers, their clients are normally going to be women, okay? That's I believe that for a decent amount of men, depending on what type of facility that he works at when he's taking clients or personal trainers, a lot of those men get into personal training so that they can hit on women, okay? It's an easy pool for them to be able to hit on women. So for pros, they're physically fit and disciplined, they're motivated, they're goal oriented. They can encourage healthy eating habits, but even then, it's like I feel like it's going to be more control than anything. Personal trainers are the type of men that after you have a baby, they're going to call you fat if you didn't lose your baby weight after 6 weeks. They're going to look at you sideways because now you have stretch marks. They're going to look at you crazy because now you have cellulite. I would never want to have a baby with a man that is a personal trainer or that is into any type of fitness. Mm-mm. Cons, they're self-absorbed, obsessed with their looks, obsessed with their diet. They tend to be very flirty by nature, okay? Because you also have to think for personal trainers, you typically you ask for permission. You ask for permission, but being a personal trainer, it can involve touching the client because you want to make sure that they're actually working the intended muscle. And so it does involve touching the client. Sometimes these personal trainers, they will get handsy. They will get handsy and try to cop a feel. And then if they are insecure, they are going to be overcritical of your appearance. Men that are very, very, very critical of their own appearance, they're constantly in the gym, they're anal about their diet, they're insecure. Okay, they're insecure. And to fuel that insecurity, they're going to start trying to control you with your body. They're going to start trying to put you down. And someone said it. A lot of gym bros are DL, buyer DL. Yep, this is another one. The gym bros, a lot of them are DL. Okay, it's going down in the locker room. Okay, it's going down in the locker room, y'all. Okay, the locker room is popping with these men in the gym. I promise you. Okay, so some warning signs. He pressures you to diet or train excessively. He's taking gym selfies and thirst traps. He's gonna flirt with clients, but call it business. Professional trainers rank in the top 15 professions for infidelity. And many relationships fail due to their fitness first mentality. Let me go through the chat really quick. Oh my God, Queen, we need to do a DL jobless next. I think I'm gonna, so what I am gonna do, it will more so be like traits. So it'll be like jobs and traits that DL men have. So like what tendencies they'll have, traits they have. I do have some videos saved for me to show you guys that will talk about men being DL and signs to look for in them being DL and potential jobs that they may have, things like that. I couldn't date an actor either. Think about Brad Pitt. The last personal trainer I talked to got mad when I said he'd probably be cracking his clients, and we stopped talking a few days after. Yeah, because he knew you were telling the truth. He knew you were telling the truth. He knew you were telling the truth. But since we're on the subject of DL, just one real quick, easy way to tell if a man is DL, they're picky. They're picky. If a man is self-proclaimed picky, okay, he's picky. He's rarely ever in a relationship, and he's attributing it to him being picky. He's DL. He likes men. He likes men. It's way, way, way too many beautiful women out here. Men care about beauty more than anything. They care about beauty more than anything. If you out here and you that picky and it's all these beautiful women out here, you are gay. You are gay. You ain't picky. The reason why you is picky is because the woman can't be a man. You want the woman to be a man and look like a man. That's why you picky. You want a man. You want a man. Yeah, exactly. Myron Gaines. These men that are ranking women, telling women, "Oh, well, no, you're not a 10, you're a 5, and this is wrong with you, and that is wrong with you, and no one's good enough for me. My standards are too high." All these men are talking about is beauty. It's hella beautiful women out here. And then they talk shit about the beautiful women too. They talk shit about the beautiful women. You're gay. You like men. You don't like women. It ain't no amount of picky in the world. It ain't no amount of picky in the world. If women can look past the 95% of men who are unattractive just to be with them, on top of their horrible personalities, their manipulation, their gaslighting, their terrible treatment, if women can get themselves to overlook men being old, men being fat, men being bald, if women can get themselves to overlook all of that shit, there is no reason why a man would ever need to be that picky with a woman. He is gay. Okay, the very last one. Entrepreneurs and business owners, okay? Entrepreneurs, first things first, they are risk takers. Okay, they're risk takers. Any entrepreneur is willing to take a risk because when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have stability of a 9 to 5. You know, your money is only going to be made based off of how many units you sell, how many clients that come to you, et cetera, et cetera. They're addicted to their work. They're always thinking about their next move. Their brains are always racing. And many of them struggle with work-life balance. And so once again, in most cases, you're not going to come first when you are dealing with a man who is an entertainer. A lot of them have a grandiose vision. So the thing about entrepreneurs, you have to be very, very, very careful. You have to be very, very careful because they have big dreams, and so they have no problem selling you those big dreams. So like for instance, one of my ex-boyfriends that's an entrepreneur. I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna be a millionaire. Listen, you can have ambitions and you can manifest whatever the fuck it is that you want. You can. You are allowed to do that. Don't tell a woman that you are going to be a millionaire. Y'all going to be living overseas. Y'all going to be doing all this. Y'all going to be doing all that. Yes, it's the future faking for me. Entrepreneurs are always future faking. Always future faking. Because they work as an entrepreneur, a lot of them can be very charismatic, and a lot of them tend to have a whole lot of confidence. This is typically how they get women because they tend to be extremely charismatic. Um, but they're also workaholics. So once again, you're not gonna come first. Okay, so for pros, they're ambitious and they are future focused. They can be financially promising if they obviously like do what they're supposed to do, and they tend to be creative and confident and inspiring. Workaholics and rarely available is a con. Um, they have like the next big thing syndrome. Um, so they're like looking forward to the next big thing. Like, oh, I have this business idea. I have this plan. I have this vision. It's always something else that they're searching for, the next big thing. So that makes it hard for them to commit to having stability. And then they tend to struggle with emotional intimacy. The warning signs. He talks about success more than emotional connection. I'm going to own this. I'm going to have this. I'm going to be a millionaire. Constantly telling you what he's going to achieve, what he's going to do, what he's going to have, what he's going to overcome, all this, what he's going to do. They tend to see relationships as a business deal. They do. They tend to see it as a business deal. And they always love bomb. Entrepreneurs are always fucking love bombing. They're like the number one love bombers. If you want to see what love bombing really looks like, deal with an entrepreneur. They're gonna love bomb the fuck out of you. They are. They're gonna love bomb the fuck out of you. And someone said it. Entrepreneurs want you to build with them and be their helpmate. Exactly. They want you. Just think of Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. These are entrepreneurs. They wouldn't. Jeff Bezos would not be the owner of Amazon if it wasn't for his ex-wife. Bill Gates would not. Bill Gates wouldn't have created Microsoft if it wasn't for Melinda. Okay, the reason why all these men have these large corporations, these large companies, they couldn't do it alone. A woman helped them build it. Okay, so for statistics, entrepreneurs have a 49% divorce rate. 49% divorce rate. One more time, 49% divorce rate. Okay. It's the highest on the list of all of the divorce rates that I've told you. Okay. And the reason being is because their business. Okay. Men don't know how to multitask. They don't. They don't know how to multitask. So when they have to do things such as being an entrepreneur, you got to have your hand in so many different buckets. You got to do your thing all over the place. Men can't handle this. This is why they want a woman to build with them, because a woman can multitask. A woman is creative. A woman does have the talents and ideas to be able to get his business to grow. So this is why entrepreneurs, they always want a woman around them to be able to help them. They can't do it alone. They cannot do it alone. A lot of them steal ideas but can't execute the vision. That's why they need their women's help. Exactly. It's reminding me of Baby Boy, which is scaring me. 49 and the marriage is probably in the red. Exactly. Thank you. I'm stepping away from the entrepreneur. For entrepreneurs, I'm always there for a good time, not a long time. Usually with entrepreneurs, I'm just there for the love bombing phase. I'm just there for the love bombing phase. The gifts, the experiences, the restaurants, the vacations. That's usually what I'm there for when it comes to entrepreneurs. Once they stop doing that, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. I'm cool. I don't need to build with you. Thank you for the gifts, though. Thank you for the gifts and for your generosity. This is so true. I am an entrepreneur. Relationship coaches tell men to marry, then build. I'm not doing that. No, 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 that's the dumbest thing. They sell you the power couple dream too. Yup. I'll just stay single. Exactly. Yuck. Entrepreneurship sounds so exhausting. Listen, I'm on the trajectory now. I mean, technically, I am an entrepreneur since I'm not going back to my 9 to 5. It is a lot of work, but I don't like people telling me what the fuck to do. I'd rather be swamped in my own work for my own self and use my own will to get it all done than to ever have a person tell me what the fuck to do. I much rather have that. I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't like listening to other people. I don't like authority. I don't like rules. I don't like having to go to work and put on my mask, my society appropriate mask. I'll drown. I will drown in doing a ton of things before I ever go back to that world. I can't do it. My uncle was one and drove his family into poverty. Yeah, because the thing about it is that if a man doesn't know how to manage money, if a man does not know how to facilitate and budget and do things and have like a creative mind and things like that, his business is going to fail. And a lot of the time these men don't have a skill. These men don't have a skill for them to fall back on. They just go all in on a business idea. And then when it doesn't fall through, they can't recover and they take it out on everybody. Oh my God, yes. I dated an Instagram model bodybuilder. He was too in love with himself and feeling himself too much. He was a cheater, but was super low endowed, dumped his butt. There's this guy who's a model. He's a bodybuilder and a model. He is fine. Okay. He's super, super fine. Super, 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 super fine. He's a model for a reason. Every time he hits me up, I'm just like, no. Mm-mm. You fine. Don't get me wrong. You fine as hell, but I can't do it. You're a model and you're a bodybuilder. No, that's just trouble. That's just asking for problems. I'll admire you from a distance though. Entrepreneurs fall into a lot of get rich quick schemes and pyramid multi-level marketing scams. Facts. Sounds like everyone is eliminated. Girl, pretty much. If he a man, it at the end of the day, like we said earlier, if it's a man, like a man is going to be a man no matter what profession he's doing. Okay, no matter what profession he's doing. The best profession for a man, let me tell y'all the best profession for a man, the best profession that a man can have, that's going to be the best fit for you. Okay, the best profession that a man can be to make you the happiest and get married to him and things like that. um his profession will have to be a ghost, um a corpse, um yeah, ashes. That's about it. That's pretty much about it. Those are probably the top 3 professions that a man can be in order for you to, be fulfilled and be happy with them and all those things. Yeah. A ghost, a corpse, or ashes. Pretty much. Yep. A spirit guide. A disappointment, not disappoint women. Exactly. Exactly. They really don't. I don't understand how men trust each other like this. Nursing home client leave you with an inheritance. Not a spirit guide. Are you kidding me? I would never trust a man as a spirit guide. I would never trust a man as a spirit guide. How about a private investigator working for the army? Girl, a private investigator working for the army, he gonna be all up in your phone. He gonna be tracking your location. He gonna be all up in your business. Are you crazy? He is a private investigator. He is out here looking for infidelity. He is out here looking for people to fuck up. He gonna be all up in your business. He hacked my WhatsApp. Exactly. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know what the hell I'm talking about. Hell no. A private investigator? No. Mm-mm. I told you, ladies. I told you, ladies. Men don't know how to separate their job Men don't know how to separate their job from their relationship. Okay? They don't set a boundary between their job and their relationship. So whatever they're doing for work, they're going to project it on their relationship. So a private investigator, his job is to look for people to fuck up. His job, he's getting paid to watch people fuck up and catch them fucking up. That's what he's going to do in a relationship. He's going to look for you to fuck up. That's why I stick to men who are fictional characters and then move on with my day. I rather entertain a pile of lines. Exactly. Yep. Even that spirit guide would try to guide you to the bedroom. Exactly. Exactly. Has anyone ever told you you resemble Britney Spears, gorgeous 2000s, the greatest pop star princess of all time? No, but I love Britney Spears. I was just talking yesterday about Britney Spears and how I'm obsessed with her and how I think she's cloned and how I think when she went under her conservatorship, they probably like unalived her or she unalived herself. That way they wouldn't make any more money off of her, and they cloned her just so that they could make more money off of her. I am so obsessed with Britney Spears. Free my girl Britney Spears. Free my girl Britney, okay? It's Britney, bitch. Got an officer who is married that still be cyber stalking. Mm-mm. They're the type to plant cameras in your house. They want to see what you're up to when you're alone. My ex did this, y'all. Yeah. Hell no. Sounds like a Lifetime movie waiting to happen. I don't want any investigators. Exactly. I like the psychoanalysis because at least I can choose whose career personality I can tolerate the most. Exactly. You and Princella are my go to on my downtime. Yay. I love Princella's content too. You look like Brittany. I see it. Thank you. Brittany's ex husband needs to rot in hell. I agree. Ex husband, should I say? Brittany's husband did her so dirty. Yeah, you're talking about like what? It was Kevin Federline, right? I've gotten Tanashi. I've gotten Lyrica. Um, who else have I gotten? I'm trying to think. Tanashi is who I get. Tanashi is who I get the most. Every single man in Britney Spears' life has used her for money. Every single man in Britney Spears' life has used her for money. Britney Spears, her whole entire life, has not had one good man in her life that was ever kind to her, ever nice to her, ever generous to her. She's been used by every single man in her life. Every single man in her life. I have a hot wife, and my wife is crazy as F, and we have our issues, but your brain is still not fully developed. Your brain will not get, I don't know what this person's talking about. You look like a younger Melanie Fiona. I could see that. Yes, exactly, including her dad. Her dad is the reason why she got into a conservatorship in the first place. Like her dad was the main reason why she got in a conservatorship. They used her as a cash cow. It's terrible. So the thing about ex-athletes, it do they have endorsements? Do they have sponsorships? Are they on ESPN? Are they doing commentary? Because the thing about it is that usually the average career span for an athlete is about 3.5 years, 3.5 4 years. A lot of the time they don't teach these athletes any financial planning. And so they get big houses, nice cars, things like that. They blow their money. They're not taught any financial literacy. They're not taught about investing. They tend to blow this money on things. So once their career is over, if it's not over much sooner due to injury, a lot of these ex-athletes, they don't have enough money. They don't have enough money. I'm dating a guy who works at Resort Kitchen. He has been generous, but he didn't call me yesterday and ask me for money today. I think he's about to leave me. We are long distance after all. Ciao. No, no. You're long distance and he's asking you for money. What? No, no, just no. He needs to go pick up more hours at work. Y'all are long distance. He like what? It ain't like he can see you. He should go pick up more work. If ex-athletes invest their money, they will be okay. Yeah, but most of them don't. Most of them don't. I saw his comment. I said, let Sovereign deal with that. And girl, I was like, what the hell are you talking about, sir? I have seen so many athletes go bankrupt less than 6 months after the last NFL check. Did y'all see what Cameron Newton just said? Did y'all see what Cameron Newton just said about 3 to 4 weeks ago? He did an interview and he was saying that his checks, now that he's been out of the NFL for a few years, his checks aren't as big as they used to be. And with him having 9 children, he fears that he will not be able to provide for them the way that he used to be able to provide for them when he was in the NFL. And he said, he said, and I quote, I used to think I was Superman, but I'm actually just a man. I thought I was Superman, but I'm actually just a man. He's got 9 fucking children. He has that podcast episode thingy majig that, but for not what but with 9 children, that's not enough money. That is not enough money. He doesn't have endorsements. He doesn't have shoes. He doesn't have a business. He doesn't have anything else. He's only making money just off of that. That's not enough to support 9 children. He's freaking out about it. He's freaking out about it. That's not enough money to sustain 9 children. Men are not forward thinkers. You're spreading your seed all over the place, not even thinking about how these 9 children are going to get provided for. 9 children. Why do men have so many children? It's like a status symbol. It's like a status symbol. They want to be able to have a population of the world and it's just them. There's a special on Netflix. I cannot remember the name. It's in a different country. I think this happened in maybe Poland or Sweden. I know it was like maybe Eastern Europe. I know that it for sure was in Europe. A man was going to multiple sperm banks, multiple freaking sperm banks. He's fathered like almost 200 children. He's fathered almost 200 children going to these different sperm banks. And they claim the sperm banks claim that they do cross-examination to make sure that you can't go to a different facility and keep donating your sperm. But yeah, this man has fathered like 200 children through these sperm banks. Like he has enough children. He has enough children all in like the same country, in the same neighborhood, in the same area. Because he was fathering to like lesbian couples, heterosexual couples. He was helping all of these couples to be able to conceive. And so a lot of these people, they have to move. They ended up having to relocate because if they all grow up with their children growing up in the same area, they may be sleeping with their relative. Exactly. What if his kids start dating each other on accident? They could have disabled kids. Exactly. The reason why he asked you for money was because he gave you $1,000 and he gave you his last dime. That's the reason why. He gave you his last dime. He gave you $1,000 that he did not have. Men do this. Men do this. Just because a man gives you money, men will give you their last. Men will give you their last. I've had it happen to me. They will give you their last to impress you. They will give you their last to impress you. And then they'll want their money back. They'll want you to start giving them money. He didn't have $1,000 to give you in the first place. He didn't have $1,000 to give you in the first place. Quit talking to him. He's broke. I understand you're broke, but he didn't have the $1,000. Ooh, you came in from a date. How was your date, girl? How was your date, girl? My ex carpenter was into corn too much and had orbiters around him, and I'm normally secure, but it eroded my self esteem, and we eventually decided I move out. Now we're working on getting back together. So, Sabrina, you're talking about a different one. You're talking about the fertility doctor in Indiana. He was the doctor that was inseminating women. He was inseminating women with his sperm. That's a different case than what I'm talking about. He was inseminating women with his sperm and then and was doing it that way. The documentary I'm talking about, it was a regular civilian going to multiple sperm banks. I feel like all men want to have like 100 kids. If they could just recklessly breed like crazy with no consequences. Exactly. What the fuck? If his kids start dating each other on accident, they could have disabled kids. Yeah, that's the reason why the parents were saying that like they have to move. They have to move because they don't want their children to end up dating and marrying and having children with their relative. They don't like wearing protection and get upset when she becomes pregnant. Exactly. It makes no sense. It's like either you want a baby or you don't want a baby. Are you going to do the things that require you to have a baby or no? Like I be telling men straight up, like, bro, I'm ovulating. Like I'm ovulating. Like I am in peak fertile window right now. Unless you want this shit to pop off, you better be putting something on. I'm fertile. Girl, I was looking good. He was looking at me when I was eating like he was wanting to eat me up. Made a second date while on the first date. I heard that, girl. I heard that, girl. Yes, I love that for you. I love that for you. With the corn situation, girl, I don't know. I don't know. I Is he getting help? Like, did he get help for his corn situation? Because the thing about it is that your self esteem is precious. Okay. Your self esteem is precious. It's very, 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 very precious. So you have to be really cautious and careful when you're dealing with a man and he is doing things and it is impacting your self esteem because that's hard to recover from. He is addicted to dopamine. Men that watch a lot of corn are addicted to dopamine. I never I never cared for a man watching corn, but I know some women do. Listen, I watch it occasionally. 90% of the time I'm using my imagination, okay? Cuz women have an imagination. Women have an imagination, men don't. Men don't know how to think. Men don't know how to think creatively. Men don't know how to think using their imagination. So it's much easier for them to resort to corn as opposed to women. And when men watch corn, this is the thing. When men are watching corn, they watching all types of foul stuff. That's the thing. They're children, stepmother, stepbrother, gays. They watching all types of stuff. Excessive corn situations aren't worth the time. Honestly, he needs an exorcism. There's a divorce lawyer on TikTok who says avoid doctors. They underreport how much they make since they are in charge of billing and they have huge egos and difficult personalities during divorce. Yeah, divorcing a doctor, you divorcing a doctor is almost as if the doctor lost. And like doctors don't want to lose. Their ego is too attached to success and perfection. So if you try to divorce a doctor, in his mind, his sense of looking perfect, his sense of being perfect, because you also have to think a doctor being married is like a doctor being married is like an accessory. Like it's like a required accessory. It's like when you're a doctor, you're supposed to be married. When you're a man that's a doctor, you're supposed to be married. Okay? Society will look weirdly at doctors, male doctors who aren't married. It's like a given. You're supposed to be married as a doctor. So when they are at the threat of divorce, nope, you're messing up their image. You're messing up their image and they don't like that. I had a man admit to watching bestiality, insane and disgusting. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all this story and look at a couple more chats and I'm gonna get off of here. So, y'all, listen to this. There was this guy. I knew what he was doing. He was trying to play off as like one of those cool guys or whatever, like he wasn't interested in me or whatever, but he was. And he needed me for like some advice or whatever. Some advice when it came to like working out. And y'all, why he showed me a video of a woman why he showed me a video of a woman sucking off a dog, y'all. He was like, "Oh yeah, I was at work and me and my buddies we were talking about dog corn." And I was like, "Dog corn? What are you talking about? Like there's corn with dogs? I'm so confused. What is going on?" He whipped out that phone and he literally showed me this woman. It was like this Siberian husky. It was this Siberian husky and she literally was I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, "I can't believe this." I was like, "I can't fucking believe this. This can't be real. This can't fucking be real." I was like, "Bro, he's definitely not afraid of his government agent watching his." Not the husky, that's a whole wolf. And that girl was into it too. That girl looked like she was loving all of that. I was like, I wonder if that lady was arrested for doing that to her dog. Child, I hope so. I hope so because I was like, what the like what? I barely want to put the human thing in my mouth, okay? I barely want to put the human thing in my mouth. And it's a woman out here putting a dog's in her mouth. Like what? Like what? I was I was floored. Would you say a lot of men watch CP? Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I believe a large majority of them do. I do. I believe a large majority of them do. The top search, like let's just think about how nasty men are. Some of the top searches for corn is like stepmother, stepbrother, stepsister. Like they're watching corn between like their step siblings, stepmother. That's sick. That's disgusting. If they're willing to watch that, they're willing to watch children. They're willing to watch children at that point. That's nasty. That's disgusting. They couldn't talk about the Super Bowl halftime, the weather. Exactly. Yep. Because read the title Stepdaughter Hot Teen. Yeah. Yes. And it's usually teenagers. It's always a teen. It is. Listen, if there were no like censorship on like what could be legal or not, and there were no laws, There would be no age of consent. These men wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. They do watch CP. I found it on two of my ex's computer. Yup. Yup. They don't care about watching that stuff. They really don't. I wonder if that's the lady that was arrested for doing that to her dog. I sure do hope so. I sure do hope so because I was like, wow, I feel uncomfortable. Now he's taking recovery seriously, and honestly, it's the line that bothered me the most. Has been letting me in more. I hate it's now that we're apart. He's willing to try. Yes, girl, I picked myself a steam up. Girl, well, just keep yourself just don't get your hopes up too high. Okay. Be be wishful, but be realistic. That's like the biggest piece of advice that I could give you with that situation with him watching corn and y'all potentially getting back together. Be wishful, but be realistic. Because all it takes, like, think of how easy it is. Just take out your phone and just start watching it. It doesn't take much to do. So just keep yourself protected. Waitresses say they make more money when they wear pigtails. Yes. You have to think. You have to think. Men keep saying they like younger women. Think of the beauty standards before BBLs. It was us being thin, us no breasts, no ass, infantile, no body hair, no pubic hair, infantile, childlike. Wasn't there a man in the news that art an infant and murdered the poor baby? Yup. It's only step because they can't do actual sisters. Exactly. 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 It says step, but when men are watching that, they're envisioning it as if it's their own sister. I'm sorry. They're envisioning it as if it's their own freaking sister. I always wonder why the waitresses started doing that. Yep. It's all about the power dynamic for them. Disgusting. I left and blocked him, and unfortunately, the cops can't do anything about it because they will only arrest if he's passing it around. Disturbing. I think I came off less threatening to other women when I'm in pigtails. Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course. All right, y'all. I'm going to end this thing. It's getting late. It's getting late, but tonight was fun. Tonight was fun. I had a good time dissecting all of these professions, and we will do part 2 tomorrow. We will do part 2 tomorrow, and then after we do that, the next day we'll do like professions that I like. We'll do 10 professions that are like more like green flags. We'll do that. So my lovely sovereign sisters, I hope you all have a wonderful night and I will catch you all tomorrow. All right. Have a good night. Bye.